Stu can't be on today though.
He's doing
He
some
driving
event, right?
somewhere,
Like somewhere?
huh?
Yeah, he's going to like some event.
Yeah, yeah. He's driving somewhere, something like that. But
Ken's gonna, right?
yeah,
Ken.
Ken's gonna join. I got two more people that aren't on the regular cast, but I'm not gonna tell you. So I want them to catch you off guard.
Oh shit.
Bro, you up to 296?
Yeah, so he hasn't changed my food the last 2 weeks,
Huh?
and my body's like tapping out, but like I'm still like it's like I'm not listening to my body at all.
Yeah.
Like I'm forcing it. Like I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I'm eating cookies and shit, like to get those
Well,
calories at the end of the day.
yeah, because at this point you can't. It's almost impossible to get it in. But
Yeah. So I mean, so anybody watching, bro, like at the end of the day, as long as your protein's in there, wherever the rest of those fucking calories come from, when you
mm,
when you're pushing your body to that limit, you've been pushing this long, like do what you got to do.
yeah, I know because you're getting close to start a prep. I know Compton. You know Compton, like he likes to push it right before the prep, even harder, right? Because it's like one mistake I've done a few times coaching myself is my calories aren't super high when I start prep. So then that's why, I kind of end up having to go to like 1,500, 1,200 calories, right? Because you want
Yeah,
to start at a point where your calories are extremely high before you start cutting down. So Compton likes to do that, right?
yeah, yeah.
What's up,
So
Jordan?
What's going on, guys?
he
Chilling,
hey,
chilling.
what's up, Jordan?
Looking huge,
You know,
Joe.
you and me look so much alike sometimes. There'll be
Yeah,
videos that you
yeah.
post, and I'm like, what the fuck? When the
You
fuck
thought
did I
it
do
was
that?
yourself.
Yeah, yeah. But
We even got the beard grown out more and everything.
Yeah, yeah. In the off season, I cover my double chin.
Dude,
somebody,
yeah, I get lazy with it. I was thinking about that earlier. I video called a friend I haven't seen in a while. He's like, "Your beard is savage, dude." I'm like, "That's just me being lazy. I need to trim this thing."
I'll get it cleaned up, but like I say, let it grow out, but just make sure it doesn't look straggly and shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly.
It's good,
Somebody
dude.
somebody told me Joe sounds like not right now because his voice is a little hoarse from being 300
Yeah,
pounds.
I'm kind of sick. I'm kind of sick.
Oh,
Dude,
okay, okay.
everybody's sick.
No, but somebody was like Joe kind of sounds like Boston Lloyd, and I was like, and I was listening. I was like, yo, he kind of does. Not right
I
now though, but usually you do.
dude,
You
I
know.
was thinking that I watched a tidbit of your podcast the other day, and
Hmm.
that actually that thought popped in my head too.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah.
wasn't watching and I was listening from like a distance. I was like, that's impossible. And then I went over there. I was like, oh, Joe sounds a lot like him sometimes. Just certain things you say.
Bro, it would be dope if he was still alive. I mean, he was on my podcast, my old podcast, but it would be dope to see him and Stu talking. That would be dope. I mean, like he was a super nice guy, man. I feel like he kind of got a bad rap just because he kind of speaks his mind, and the way he talks, he like I'm from the East Coast, and that's how we all talk, like Nick Tajili or Nick Walker, right? It's like
Yeah.
sometimes they say things and people get offended, but you gotta understand it's not always literal. People bust balls, like that's
Right.
kind of how people do in the East Coast or some people in general. But he was never like trying to be like he was trying to never like disrespect anybody. He was just that's how he spoke. I was a friend of his, and he would make comments too, and I wouldn't take it personal. He'd be like, "Oh, Beatty came in fat, right?" And nobody wants to hear they're fat, but I understand that's just how he talks. He doesn't
Dude,
mean me any harm. He wants me to be in shape as well. So,
I don't
but
know.
I,
I didn't know him personally, but he cracked on me pretty hard when I won USA's.
oh yeah,
Oh no shit.
Yeah, he was.
he
I remember somebody sent it. Somebody was like, "Hey, did you see Boston? What Boston Lloyd said?" It was the day
mm,
after I won, and I was
mm.
like, "No, do I want to know?" He's like, "Yeah, don't go look." And of course, I went and looked,
But
and he's like, "This is like the worst USA winner we've seen in a long time." Blah blah. And you guys know how sometimes the pictures that go up on NPC online, like they don't,
Joe knows.
they're not
Joe knows
accurate.
all too well.
Yeah,
Bro, it broke my heart because Lee Priest was like, none of those guys that won should be pro bodybuilders right now. I was
mm,
like,
it hurts,
oh.
dude. I mean, it just depends on the lighting and the way the camera gets it for the NPC photos because Really, and I always wonder that now when I see national shows and I'm not there and I look at the pictures online, I'm like, I wonder if those are accurate to how the guy looked.
Nah,
For
dude.
sure. Yeah, no, it can be. And it almost makes me like when we do like show reviews, it makes me nervous to even give my full opinion because I'm like, yo, I wasn't there, bro. Because the way Joe, I was there right next to Joe. The way Joe looked in person versus pictures, bro, it's not even close, bro. It's not even close. But you can't say that 'cause everybody's gonna be like, but that goes for everybody. It does to a point, but some people more than others. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't know. It's hard to say. I feel like Stu translated pretty well. He's still more impressive in person, but like Stu at USA's did translate pretty well in the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Now, also Joe that year, the pictures were just shit, bro. It was just horrible
Yeah,
pictures. On
it
top of
was.
that, Joe doesn't necessarily photo as well like that he does in real life, but the pictures were actually pretty fucking shitty, you know. So I don't know, man. So it's like take it with a grain of salt. What's good, Ken?
What's
You
up,
can.
guys?
Okay. How's it
Can
going,
you guys
dude?
hear me?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, loud and
All
clear
right.
with that mic, with that new
I
mic,
got
man.
I got the new mic. We're official now,
Yeah,
so
bro. Word.
yeah,
I
Jordan,
can
I don't think
pour.
Did you guys meet
Jordan,
before?
no,
No,
I've never
we
met
just
Jordan.
follow each other on Instagram, but we never really talked, man. What's up?
Yeah, we have a mutual friend, my good buddy Elias. So
Oh
I
yeah,
see you
yeah,
guys hanging out. So it's
yeah,
good to
man.
meet you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
really
feel
follow.
left out. I feel left out. Two USA champions on this podcast
Oh
right now.
yeah, that's
We need more North Americans here, dude.
yeah, right. That's true, man.
They,
Who
they
If
won?
we
they
had
thought I
Stu
looked
on
like
here, if
they
Stu
thought I
was
looked
on
like
here, we'd
Jordan,
have
so they
three.
just gave it to me.
Yeah,
So, hey, I've seen
exactly.
this guy before.
You look like Jordan. Who won the North Americans last year? That tall guy, right? He was kind of like a tall, bald guy.
Felix Norman. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did USA's the year I did in 21. He did super heavies.
Let me pull him up. He looked good, right? I kind of remember him being
Oh
a.
yeah.
Okay,
And
let me pull him
he
up.
was super strong too. Great physique. He's I think he's more quiet on social, that's why, but
Yeah.
very awesome physique, Felix Norman. There he is, Felix
You,
Norman. Yep.
you know what? These days, man, you got to be careful. You got to be on social media, bro. You just have to. You
Yeah.
just have to, man. There's no way around it. You don't have to like it. You don't have to enjoy it, but it's so crucial, bro. You got to do podcasts. You got to post shit. You got to, stay on at least on Instagram. You don't got to do TikTok and shit if you don't want to, but you got to have some kind of base. It's just so crucial. But yeah, he looked fucking great.
People that don't
Yeah.
know as much about it, they tend to talk to me and get advice from me as if I
Yeah.
enjoy doing social media, like the way they ask me about stuff. I'm like, you
Uh-huh.
do know I don't enjoy doing this. Like,
Jordan, you know what I realized? Yeah, none of us like it, man.
no,
No.
None of us like it. Like I was talking to Bitey about this. Just this year, last 2 months, I've been one of those guys that I'm like, I don't like recording my workouts. I'm not gonna put a phone in front to see how many sets I did. But you know what? Such are the times, man. Such are
right.
really the times, which sometimes it's like, all right, people want to see what you're doing on a day-to-day basis in terms of, the sets you're doing, the kind of exercises, what kind of weights you're lifting. And if you don't put that stuff out there, a lot of times, especially with bodybuilding now, it's the hottest guy on the next block, right? The next show is just the
Facts.
hottest guy that comes out, and you're kind of left irrelevant. And in this industry, if you want to make something out of it, especially us that are up and coming, you got to stay relevant to a degree, right?
Oh, for
Yeah,
Or you're
sure.
you
not going
do.
to get nothing. Yeah.
One
That
thing One thing I do like though is the podcast. I do enjoy being on a podcast. Anything else, I don't like. Anytime I film, I feel like it's gonna throw me off to a certain point. Right? It's one or the other. Either I'm gonna be like, okay, uh, I want to do the 150s, but I could probably do the 160s. Let me do the 170s. Because what I'm saying, especially like if I'm somebody who like genetically I'm on the stronger side. But going heavier, I don't necessarily get a better workout, right? I can do
Yeah.
170, 180-pound dumbbells for incline, right? Incline chest, but I don't get a good chest pump when I do it. Even if I get, let's say, 10 reps, I don't get like a good chest contraction. I don't feel a good pump. But if I do 150, it feels a lot better, right? But when the
Right.
camera's on, I go grab the 170s every time. And I'm like, I don't want to feel that, you know? It sounds stupid, but like it's true though, you know.
Dude,
Subconsciously I do.
if any of us like went and did a PR, like a 1 rep max on deadlifts, you know we would all get a lot of views.
Yeah.
Our risk of injury would be really high. But
Yeah,
like we
yeah.
would literally get a ton of views just for doing it. But
I agree.
the risk is not worth it. But sadly, when you're posting on social media, you know when you have those dumbbells, people are looking at how much they are. They're like zooming in, trying to
For
see,
sure, yeah.
what is he pushing on the dumbbell press this week. But I hate that because it is a misconception on Instagram for the younger kids that think it's all about how much weight you can possibly push. I've had that question so many times in person. They're like, I see all these guys on Instagram lifting all this weight. How come you aren't lifting much weight? I'm like, because I'm doing it a certain way. Like, you do it this way, it'd be way more difficult than you can imagine.
It makes sense.
And it's all relative too, right? So I've mentioned on this podcast before, when it comes to squatting, you know, I typically would squat 4 plates. Can I squat 5 plates? I probably can, but I start to lose a lot of that mind to muscle connection. But it's relative to the person, right? So you know, Joe, I think I saw a video with Joe, you know, with them 6 plates on his back, just repping it out for you know, like nothing. If you're a kid that's 180 pounds, should you be putting 6 plates on your back? You know, are you really going to get any kind of benefit from doing like 2 to 3 reps? Joe is repping that out, right? So he's getting that muscle contraction. He's getting some effect from that. But if you go in there and you're just doing 2 reps, you know, just to do it for social media, you're just kind of gaming yourself at that point, you know?
Facts. Even if it looks good, right? Because here's my thing, right?
Right.
Any one of us right here could grab, let's say on shrugs or dumbbell rows, we could grab the 200s and I can make it slow and controlled as well. I can do 200 slow and controlled and make it look perfect. But guess what? I still don't feel my back, you know, fire the way I do when I grab the 160s or 150s even, right? So even if it looks good, like same thing. If I'm doing shrugs with 200s and I'm squeezed and I'm going down, I still don't feel it. And these days, bro, I shrug like 120s, bro. And it feels way better for sets of like 15, 20. And it feels way better. I'm pumped. My traps grow from it. And there was a time where I was struggling like five, 6 plates. You know what I'm saying? I think we all did that at like 18, 19, you know. And even if you're coming all the way up, you don't really feel shit, you know. Same with curls. I was a really strong curler. And I'm curling all these weight with pretty good form. Nothing was happening to my biceps. So even if you can do it, even with pretty good form, if you don't feel it, it's pointless, bro. Like if you can't feel the muscle you're working, you're probably not fucking working it. You know what I'm saying?
And that's I think I go ahead, Joe, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
I was just gonna say, like, when you guys see me lift heavy, so my training style, my whole little career, even when I was natural, I always trained like pyramid style. So I build up to a heavy weight, and so that I even becoming enhanced, you get even stronger, right? So I've kind of developed a certain like threshold of strength where I can't go to a certain like moderate load where I'll feel it. Like my body's too strong for some of the for some of the loads. So like, say for example, I could get something out of 4 plates compared to 6. But like anything less than that at this point, I don't even like. It's not enough. So I have to lift what looks heavy to people a lot of the time now, even with arms and shit. It's because I always train that way. So like people coming up like that have trained like, you know, like let's say like Nick Walker, even though he's strong as shit, he didn't start like that, but like he trained heavy, right? So he can handle those loads like crazy, like super controlled, super like anything like if he does the 100-pound dumbbells compared to the 200-pound dumbbells, it's honestly probably not enough for him, like realistically, unless it's like at the end of the workout, he's already doing like multiple failure sets. Like there's just a certain amount of load that you need once you've gotten to a certain level of strength to even stimulate your muscle.
For sure.
Minimum threshold. Yeah.
So, okay. So I think because we're talking about lowering the weight, it's not, you should still train heavy though. You should still train heavy as possible. Boom. That's the point, because sometimes like these terms are relative. you know. So when we say heavy, heavy doesn't mean anything, right? Because heavy could be 6 plates, heavy could be fucking 10 plates, you know what I'm saying? But it's just that most people, I think, usually train, especially younger guys, train too heavy because, okay, if you're gonna, you should still be hitting failure, let's say 8 to 15 reps. I usually, some exercises I like 15, some exercises I like 10, but whatever. But let's say generally 8 to 15 reps, right? Now, if Joe puts 4 plates on the hack squats and he does 15, at some point he's gonna fatigue before he hits true failure. So if Joe goes light, he actually can't keep the intensity high enough because his brain is gonna start to, you know, your brain can only stay focused for so long. So if he's doing a set for fucking 3 minutes and he's at rep 18, at some point he might just get tired and be him being fucking almost 300 pounds. He might just run out of fucking
Yeah,
breath.
that's another thing. Like
Yeah.
that 15 reps and shit ain't gonna cut it anymore. Like I can't breathe.
Yeah,
Like I
exactly.
can't fucking breathe. I'll run out of breath before my fucking muscles run out of fucking energy.
Yeah.
But
I think
you
it
guys also
sorry,
do you guys also feel like, you know, I think we've talked about this off air. When you're first starting out, right? We're lifting all these kinds of weights. I think Bidey and I, we've been going back and forth with our throwback videos. I feel like to get to the point where we are now, where you can, you know, use lighter weights to actually stimulate, I feel like you kind of need to go through that process, man, because outside of just the muscle, there's also connective tissue. There's also, you know, your nervous system. It has to
Yeah.
acclimatize to strong weight. I feel like guys that never really go through that process, they never really get strong, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
down the
yeah.
line. I've never seen a guy that started with full range of motion, you know, doing everything with the one arm rows going this way, and the guy is, you know, deadlifting like 6, 7 plates. It never really happens, man. It's always
Yeah.
like the other way around where you lift all that heavy weight and then eventually you start to optimize your training and then your
Mhm.
body can handle it. So you start to, you know, really, really specialize in getting that contraction from something that's a little bit lighter relative to you.
I
Right.
agree with that completely. I
Uh,
think you should
mhm.
start with that heavier style training, build the strength, build the base. I can't these days. My joints and connective tissue, honestly, can't quite handle super heavy weight. Either I'm too tight or something is just the risk of injury is high for me. I
I
wish I
think
could lift heavy weight. It's more fun, but
Stu, I think Stu will tell you to up to GH, bro.
That's funny. No, but
Then I use
sometimes I kind of wonder, right? Okay, what if I took the knowledge from now I have and then applied it to when I was 18? Would I be better off? Or was, I know some of it was needed. A lot of the heavyweights was needed, but some of it was a little bit over the top, right? You know, so I wonder if I would actually be better for it, or it would just end up, you know, kind of leveling out to the same thing. I kind of feel like it would level out because I was still smart. I wasn't completely fucked up. I just definitely had a way bigger ego, way fresher joints, and I really wanted to, like, more anger. I wanted to test myself, right? But I don't think it did me too much harm because I'm only 30, right? I mean, if I was doing this like into my mid 30s, maybe, but I think I kind of started getting smart a little pretty early enough to not do too much damage, you
Bro, I'm
know.
not
And
gonna lie. When I see a young lifter in the gym, like coming to Fit Nation, and I
mhm,
see him work out like recklessly, aggressively, and almost fearlessly, I
yeah.
respect that dude more than the guy that's being super precise and low key lifting like a pussy. Like what the fuck? Like you can't teach effort. You can't teach heart like the other guy. That's
You
in
gotta
him.
have that for.
So that
Mhm,
guy is going to take that effort and refine it, like you're saying. The other
mhm.
guy, he's going to be afraid his whole life. Like
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
never going to get to that level because he's already scared of the weight. Like it's the dudes with
That's a
what
good
I
point.
just said. Those are the ones that you'll see change.
Yeah,
It
when you're young like that, man, when you're training, bro, you're training with emotion, you know. It's like
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't teach
it's
that.
like yeah, like I remember, you know, when I was like early 20s, you know, going into train, like bro, like some days I'm like if I die here, I'm fine with it. You
yeah,
know, I'm
mhm,
perfectly fine because you're training with emotion, you know, you're training with
yeah, yeah,
anger, you have something to prove versus now it's like yeah, if I get hurt, like, you know, this bodybuilding thing is over. So like
right.
you have a little bit of restraint, you know, at this point.
And
Yeah.
that's how
Like,
passions
like
develop for the sport, bro. That's
Yeah.
so like those days that are hard during prep and shit. You dig back deeper to that younger version of yourself, and that's where it comes from.
Right.
Like you said,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't
yeah.
teach that.
right. You
Right.
really
Do
can't.
you
You can't teach intensity, and like that's the problem. I think a lot of these younger guys that will come at one of your posts and try to cite some citation of what works better from such and such research of some kind of movement, and you look. I don't know if you guys have had this. You may have not dipped your toes into TikTok much, but I've
uh-uh.
made a couple posts in the past couple of years on TikTok, and these 18-year-old kids that are skin and bones will try
Bro.
to argue with me about the right kind of exercises and stuff. And the problem is none of them know how to train with intensity. And like Joe said, you just can't teach it. Like you just have to have that. And you have to have that like aggressive edge in the gym. And I try to teach that to my clients sometimes. I'm like, look, I want you to have good form and execution, but I can't teach you to train your ass off. Like you have to learn how to do that.
Bro, TikTok is a whole different world, man. These kids are arrogant, bro. Like,
Mm-hmm.
imagine us coming up and I used to see like Victor Martinez in the gym, right? Imagine I go to Victor, I'm like, bro, Victor, you see how you do that bench? You got to squeeze up top. You're not doing it right. Imagine how stupid that sounds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you said, you got these kids like skin and bones, but they're like, oh, bro, you got to do it like this guy, and they'll tag some guy, and I'll go click, and I'll see the guy, and I'm like, bro, who the fuck is this? Who is this guy? He doesn't even look like he trains, but they're like, this guy knows what he's talking about. You don't, and it's like, okay, bro. I don't even have like an argument because there's nothing to say at that point, you know. But imagine us,
Delusion.
you know, yeah. Imagine us as teens going to the gym and seeing these guys. You see Branch Warren and these guys in the gym. Like, hey, Branch, come here. Let me talk to you. Bro, I was scared to talk. I didn't say one word to Victor. I was scared to even talk to him. I would just look at him, fucking work out. I was saying like this, fucking. Wow, this is impressive. You know
It's
what
a
I'm saying?
it's a difference of respect now, dude. Like it's
Mhm.
almost like look at this old guy. He doesn't understand how to train correctly. Like when
Mhm.
you should be doing. I think what my post was talking about how when you're doing a lat pull down, a lot of people disagree on the wide grip lat pull down and how maybe it targets too much teres and upper back versus if you're trying to really focus on your lats. And I was just talking about either doing like a neutral grip or pulling down on this plane. And this kid was like coming at me. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, most of you guys don't even know how to train in the first place. So I don't know why you're arguing with me on here.
And, and Jordan, my thing is this, man. I've said this because I feel like we're in this period now of bodybuilding where people are trying to science their way into it. Listen,
Mhm.
bodybuilding's been here since the late 60s, 70s. There has been decades of big guys training with zero science. So this science thing just recently started, like I would say maybe the last 20 years. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, bodybuilding is not rocket science. Can it be better with science? Yes, but dude, you got to eat, sleep, train. And you have to have intensity in doing that. I think the number one factor in bodybuilding, if we're trying to science this whole thing, is intensity, which is what we were
Mhm.
talking about. You can do all the exercises with correct range of motion or whatnot, but if there's no intensity in there, you're not growing any muscle versus that kid who is just
Mhm.
training, okay, I'm not, no one should misquote me, but if you've seen Hadi train, okay,
You already
according
put
pretty,
the
pretty.
words out of my mouth. They already know where you're going, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
according to
See,
science, Hadi should have no muscle. You
Right.
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
I,
You know, like okay, so it's kind of wild, right? Because I do see a little bit of both sides because the science guys say, bro, I guarantee you, if Hadi did this better, he would grow a bigger back. You know, my thing is this though, I would only bring that up to anybody if they had that deficit. If Hadi had
Right.
a horrible back or a weaker back, right, than the rest of his body, then you could be like, hey, Hadi, man, you see the way you do those T-bar rows? Maybe you should reconsider. You know, but if it's all there, who are we to say anything? You know what I'm saying? Not
Right.
that, not I still would say that the, I think we would all agree there's a safer and possibly more effective way for Hadi to train. I think we could all agree to that. But who are we to say shit? Because he's Mr. Olympia. You know what I'm saying? Okay, now that being said, I'm not gonna tell some kid that he needs to train like Hadi if he wants to be Miss Olympia. I definitely wouldn't say that. I would definitely want like my youngest client is 16. I have like some 16-year-olds, 17 or 18-year-olds. I'll watch them train, and there's a certain limit I won't let them go cross over. If I see 3 plates on there for 1 rep, I'm like, bro, we ain't doing 1 rep maxes. That we're not doing. Now, if I see some English on some T-bar rows or English on some barbell rows, and I'll look at them. His back is pretty fucking good for 16-year-old. I ain't gonna say shit. You know, there's a limit, but if the development is there, I won't say shit. The same client that's 16, we were talking about his leg training, and he was like, "Bro, I literally just come here, I squat, I leg press, I curl, and I walk out." And I'm like, "That's all you do?" He was like, "Yeah, but the intensity is high." Let me see your legs. Legs look fucking awesome at 16 years old. I'm like, shit, your legs look better than half this gym. Don't change shit. Keep doing it. Like,
Bro, I literally had this conversation with Paul yesterday, and I said, name one legendary physique that didn't train somewhat recklessly with aggression and some heavy ass shit. Name one.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
can't. I cannot name one. Like we're talking
mhm.
like top 3 in the world in any period of time.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it doesn't happen.
Even okay, so like Dexter and Phil, they got a rap for you being the machine guys, right? But go earlier. I was literally just
But
watching.
watch them still, even in the chain with the machines.
They're
Phil's
still
like
going hard. Yeah.
3/4 repping some heavy ass shit.
Mhm.
It's for 8 reps. Like it's heavy for him. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah. It's like you got to get the intensity. I think we all could agree that intensity is first. Would everybody agree on that?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
always, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't have an issue with the science guys or the science based training with the super perfect form if the intensity is 100. That's perfectly fine because we could say like Hunter. I wouldn't call him a science guy, but Hunter is a perfect form kind of guy. If the intensity is A1, perfect, and it's working, right? You know,
Dude,
I
he
think as
actually,
long.
there's something that he said when we were training one day.
Mm,
And he was talking to me on my set, and we were working on my form with something. And he was like, all right, now you got that down pat, but it doesn't matter if you don't send this set all the way. Like it
boom,
literally doesn't matter if you don't send it. So like
boom.
he's the same kind of way. Like he's big on form and execution, but
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
don't go all in on the set, it doesn't even matter.
So here's the thing. I think sometimes we argue amongst each other, but all of us who get it, we actually on the same page. We're not saying bad form or super perfect form. We're just saying keep the intensity high and make sure you feel what you're working. Make sure you're connecting. Now, how that looks may vary. Some people take fucking 10 seconds for 1 rep. Some people take 2 seconds for 1 rep. You know, I think Jordan probably has the best form out of us four, right?
Well, see, the thing is, like, so I have turned into more of a form guy because I've
Mm.
been forced that way. So like whether it's from like I'm just prone to injury more or
Oh yeah, that'll do
I'm
that.
tighter or whatever, like I when I tell you I miss just training all out without a care of an injury, I miss it
Yeah,
so bad. Especially with like chest, shoulder press, any kind of pressing and
yeah, yeah.
squats. So like I've been
Mhm.
dealing with an adductor issue for months now. So it's like if I bottom out a squat and just crank it out of the bottom as hard as I can, my adductor is probably going to go.
Shut.
It's
Yeah.
like on the line like that. So it's more that I'm forced to train this way, but it seems to have worked for me lately. I
Mhm.
do miss just going all in though. I mean, it's there's
That's the
nothing
fun
more fun
part.
than that.
Yeah, that I think we all reached that crossroads. Like if you watch my videos now, you'll notice the only thing I still train balls to the wall really is back, right? Because there's no pain or anything there. But if you compare my leg training a couple years versus now, it's night and day. Because I just can't. You good over there, Joe?
Good, Joe.
Just surviving. Can't breathe.
Not all season.
Yeah, bro. Like
So like
my,
back back.
I was sitting down in the kitchen earlier looking at my phone, and my sister was like, "Mom, close your eyes. Would you be able to tell if he's sleeping or if he's awake? I guess I'm distorted when I'm awake."
Heavy
That's
breathing.
hilarious. No,
Fuck,
but like
bro.
yeah, like my rows, pull downs and stuff. I can train at the same weight, same intensity I've always trained. But these leg training sessions, man, I gotta walk in the gym. I gotta do like air squats. I gotta fucking hit my quads with the gun. Then I can't even go into leg extensions. I gotta do a set of curls first to warm up the fucking back of my knees. Then I do the extensions, and I'll start with one hole. Then I'll go down one hole, and maybe stay here at the middle for a couple sets, and then keep going. It's kind of pathetic, bro. Like I'm 30, bro. I'm not fucking 50, but like my knees are like 70, bro. So I'll do that. Then I'm like, okay, can I squat? Probably can't. So I have to go to leg press now. You start with like one plate, two plate, the whole fucking boring ass shit. I'm doing like 3, 4 exercises, but it's taking me an hour and a half because I got to do so much warming up. And it fucking sucks, bro. I used to walk in the gym. I shit you not, go to the bar, 2 plates, 4 plates, 6 plates. Just like no extensions. Everybody, oh, should we do extensions first? I don't need it. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? And then I would do whatever. Mm-hmm.
What I will say, because what was something you mentioned, Bitey, before, where you said that if it's not working, the intensity and going balls to the wall is not working, then you start to science things. That's
Yeah,
where
for
it's
sure.
applicable. So, like for me, for example, that's something that we're working on in my off season is my back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just need a little bit more thickness in my back. So we've actually brought down all the weights, all that 3 plates, barbell rowing I've been doing. Andrew was like, we need to cut all this. We're starting from
Yeah.
scratch. So
Mm-hmm.
I shit you guys not. I am rowing like 165 right now. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
even rowing 2 plates because the form, we're trying to fix the form from the ground up.
Yeah, yeah.
Because, at this point, if I'm rowing all that 3 plates and my back is still not as thick as it
It is
should be,
pointless. Mm-hmm.
it's pointless. I'm probably using my arms, right? It's all just going to the arms and shoulders. So,
Yeah,
Are
yeah.
um,
you seeing good results from that right now?
oh yeah, dude. Like
Because I
the
did too.
first, yeah, you do 2 plates, right? Yeah, because the
Well,
first
no,
time,
no, I just mean I've seen the same results from pulling back on the weight with my back specifically.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Jordan, the first day, because I'm like you, I like lifting heavy. I'll be honest, I like lifting heavy. So it took a real mental toll for me to say, you know what, you're gonna stop rowing that 3 plates, and you're gonna drop down to one. But when I did it that way, squeeze at the top, hold it, and just perfect form. My back, I have never felt that kind of activation in my back throughout my
Yeah.
entire bodybuilding history. So it works. It works.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe after this off season, my pro debut in 25, we'll see. Maybe they'll do a comparison of my amateur to my pro and see what the
Yeah.
back looks like. If it
Yeah.
looks the same, then you guys just clear out everything I just said.
Bro,
Yeah,
for back, I only use machines.
Oh,
I,
okay,
I, I
yeah.
never
Really?
I never barbell row, I never dumbbell row. I
Do,
always use machines.
do you
With
deadlift?
not anymore. I used to. Not anymore. Because
Bro,
the risk for injury, I just stopped doing it.
if you see Joe in person, there's no way this man could deadlift, bro. It's
It
impossible.
ain't
But and
happening.
when I saw him, he was 10 pounds lighter than he is now. It ain't happening, bro. Even his hands can't even wrap around the bar at this point, bro.
No, but for real, I never barbell row. I don't deadlift. I don't do that shit.
I
Yeah,
I
used
like
to
no.
a lot, and
I like
I've noticed.
machines.
Yeah, I've noticed the same, Joe. Is I've switched to all machines lately, and there's been a thought in the back of my head where I'm like, gosh, I'm just utilizing all these chest supported machines. My back's seeing progress, but am I going to lose like thickness in my erectors and my mid back from not doing a hinge movement? But every time I do, when I do heavy hinge movements or deadlifts, my back is locked up for like 3 or 4 days. It affects my training, it affects my cardio, everything I do. Um, so I don't know. I've seen great results from just sticking to chest supported machines lately for my back
Mhm.
specifically. I do miss doing the bent over stuff, but I can't do it anymore without the crazy low back bumps and just
Yeah,
not.
Yeah.
exactly. Like I
So
get
so
crazy lower back pumps from low cable rows.
Mm.
Like my back is done after a low cable row. Yeah,
so
I can't do that
so
shit.
Jordan, your lower back pumps, is it from, because I know you're pushing in the off season right now. So is it from the off season weight, or you've just had that in general, even in prep?
I mean, it's definitely much, much better in prep,
Okay.
but I think I have an anterior pelvic tilt. So my back is always kind of like bowed this way,
Mm,
just naturally. And my hips stay tight. I've got to loosen my hips more. But it is the heavier I get, the worse it gets, to
the
where
worse it
like
gets.
I just get a low back pump from going on a walk with my dog. And I
Oh
just like
man.
am bent over,
That
you
was
know.
me last night. That fucking sucked. This
It's
little
Mhm.
guy's
it's
having the time of his life, and I'm over here fucking gasping for air and shit.
Yeah,
yeah, it sucks,
yeah.
man.
When it comes to back, if the traditional shit is working, keep doing it. Fuck it. But I got to be honest. I think more people more than ever have a lot of gaps in their back. That's why you see a lot more people kind of changing their training. Like we said, if it's not working, you got to change it. I have good lats, actual lats, good width, but I have gaps in my back, and I hate that. I see it because I'll say my back is a weakness, and people be like, "Bro, I've seen your back poses. It's not a weakness." But I'm like, "There's gaps in there. There's gaps in there," and I see it like in the mid trap area, the lower, and I'm like, "Okay, I got to find a way to hit those. I can't just keep rowing and dumbbell rowing and barbell rowing. I got to hit those angles because it makes a difference on stage." When I stand next to Joe, you see where he's filled in, and you see where I have this, but I'm not kind of filled in everywhere I need to be. So I think more people would get more benefits in completely changing their back form than not. We can't all be Ronnie Coleman and Johnny Jackson.
Yeah,
We
see,
just
like
can't.
Yeah.
barbell rows, I could never connect with it. Like I'll
Yeah.
look like I'm doing it perfect. Didn't matter how much weight, but I couldn't get a true deep contraction with it. Like Paul tried to get me to do it several times. I worked
Mhm.
up to 3 plates and stuff, and it never hit right. But if I told him, I'm like, look, if you want to do this, I'll do it in the Smith machine because the Smith
Mhm.
machine I can do it and feel that contraction I'm talking about. When it's
Mhm.
free weight and all that movement and stability, I can't keep it right where I want it, and I lose it. So it's pointless to me if I can't keep it the whole way through.
I do like them on the Smith machine. I if I were to do a bent over row, it's usually a bent over Smith machine row.
Yeah, same, exactly. If I do it, it'll be a Smith machine.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't. I don't get any contraction from barbell rows. I do get. I feel like I connect well with my upper back and my lower back. Depending on how I do it, I don't really do it for my lats. I could get lats if I wanted to a point, but I kind of just do it more for like upper back and lower back for more than anything. But
Yeah.
it's only as effective as it is. If you don't connect with anything, don't fucking do
It's
it, man. Take it
useless.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
not I'm not gonna lie, man. I love the free weights. I feel like I'm a little bit more old school in that mentality. Like I would
Mhm.
always try to use free weights over machines if I can. Um, but like one thing I feel like at this point that I don't think I could get out of leave from my training is deadlifts. I feel like the benefits that I get from that, just from posterior chain all the way to lower body, I feel like the benefits for deadlifts, at least for me,
Mhm.
um, it's something that as of right now, I don't think I could give that up unless I had an injury or something, because I know that even this prep coming into North Americans, I saw the benefits of just keeping deadlifts in my training. I just
Mhm.
felt like from the back, even from the lower and just the glutes and hams, everything just seemed to just connect a little bit better. Everything just seemed a little bit harder. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm definitely looking forward to, this off season where I'm pushing up. Maybe when I get too heavy, like 270, 275,
Mhm.
I may have a different story. But deadlifts is something that I always try to keep in. I think that one, the benefits are just they're too good to miss on that.
Yeah, I've
Mhm.
always loved deadlifts, man. I've had quite a few people comment that are like old school and look at my physique and ask me, they're like, "You heavy deadlifted a lot to get here, didn't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I did for
Yeah.
years." It's only been the past couple of years that I've pulled back. I mean, they've still been in like on and off, but
Yeah.
not nearly what I used to do. But I think a lot of people that are missing like striated glutes, good glute development, great hamstring development, really good lower and mid backs, like they're the ones that don't, they've never at least put some amount of time in really deadlifting to build that up. Like, I
Agreed.
don't know, right now for me, I would love to do it. I just know it's going to cripple me for the rest of my training for if I don't figure out this low back issue. If I could figure out how to keep it loose, then I'd be still deadlifting for sure. At least like a straight leg deadlift or an RDL, probably not a
Yeah.
convict.
Let me ask you, Jordan, like what are you trying to improve this offseason? Because you're pretty balanced, right? And you're pretty big, you know, just from the Texas Pro just seeing you. So like
Yeah.
what's kind of like your main goal this offseason?
I mean, it's always kind of like arms and shoulders seem to mostly my arms lack.
Arms.
I have
Okay.
really long arms. But my back was a big goal for us this past year. And that's one thing that we really changed. I think a lot of my back movements, I was using a lot of traps and upper back. And I'm really focused more on biasing lats for certain movements and then having separate upper back movements and not just a full back movement where I'm kind of moving through everything. So, but my lats, like from the front, I feel like are pretty strong, but I think my back shots need to improve. Like my lats from the back need to be wider, thicker in the back, and then the arms, but then just growing everything proportionally. That's kind of like the feedback I got from judges too. They're like, honestly, you grew proportionally from USA's. So
Hey
just
Gotcha.
guys,
the same
guys.
goal.
So speaking about arms, right? I was having this conversation with somebody, and he felt that like, yo, you gotta have big arms to do well. And I looked at him. I was like, you know what? I don't think I agree, man. I don't think I agree. I know a lot of people with great arms. Okay, let's think of some of the best arms in history, excluding Phil Heath. How much of those guys actually beat the guys who didn't have as good arms, right? You know,
Grace didn't have good
But
arms.
Buddy,
uh,
I'll say this. I would say this. In classic, you can get away without big arms in classic. For open bodybuilding, you definitely need good shoulders and arms. You don't have to have the best arms, but
They
you
have to be
gotta have big
decent.
arms. I mean, look at
but
the top 10. Who in the top 10 doesn't have a solid
yeah,
arm development?
okay. Here's the thing: like, what do you consider good arms though? Because I don't consider Derek Lunsford's arms good arms. He's just big. He's big all around, but in proportion, like the only way we
His
can go by
biceps don't peak much.
yeah, we can only go by proportion because the measurements can vary. My measurements are probably bigger than most of these guys who look like they have big arms than me, just because I'm a
So
big guy.
As long
But
as your
so
arms are in balance with your physique, whether like because Derek's not like crazy bubbly like Phil Heath was, but
yeah,
his arms fit his torso. Like it just lines up well.
exact
So if he
exactly. And
didn't
look at
have
well,
if he had small arms, it's gonna throw off his whole look.
that
Look at Derek from a side tricep, bro.
Mhm.
He doesn't have Roly Winkler arms, but he's got big arms, bro. Like look at him from a side tricep. That arm
Yeah,
is
okay.
filling up, you know,
There's the
that frame.
point. There's the point I'm trying to make. I'm not trying to say weak arms. I'm trying to
Okay.
say, do you need big arms? Big is a relative term. So I'm saying for your physique, on Derek's physique, his arms aren't big. They're in balance. Okay.
Yes.
Jordan's arms aren't big on his body. They're in balance. I don't actually think Jordan needs bigger arms. I think if Jordan grew everywhere evenly and Jordan was 15 pounds heavier, I think he would still beat all these guys, regardless if his arms got bigger.
I think Jordan's arms sticking up a little bit fills in a little bit more of those gaps
Yeah,
from some shots. So I
Uh-huh.
think a little would go a long way.
I
But
Okay,
every
agree.
but
So
shot,
if you look at his physique, right? If you pull up Jordan again, Jordan, I hate that we're doing this a year on the
Oh,
pod,
dude, I
but
appreciate
it
it.
yeah, if you look at Jordan's physique, right? If you pull it up on Instagram again, now just imagine so pull up maybe the first one, the first
well,
slide
even
up there.
that front lat spread right
Yeah,
there.
just imagine a bigger arm on that frame. He's already from his
100%.
front. Look how hard
Mhm.
he is from the front. If you added bigger arms to his frame right there, it
Mhm.
already makes his physique look even 10 pounds, 15 pounds heavier.
It would fill
Just
in through the
because of,
lats too and
yeah, it was
everything.
filling
Okay,
through the lats. You know what I
and
mean?
that
So there's nothing
mhm,
wrong with his upper body. It's
mhm,
perfect. It's just if he had bigger arm, are his arms good right now? Hell yeah, they're good.
mhm.
But bigger arms on that physique, that's why Nick Walker is so dominant, right?
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
It's
but
the arms. It's not that the upper body is better than everyone else. It's the arms that
mhm,
just fills things out, you know?
Plus, it
but
draws the eyes more, bro. Like you can't look
Yeah.
at it. a physique like Lee Priest, it's hard not to draw. He was so smaller than everybody, but he's still with those arms, dude. He drew eyes like crazy. So
Hold
I
on
mean, it's
though.
always been a goal for me to have big arms.
One
Yeah.
second though, right? But I felt like Lee Priest, his arms were so big that it actually distracted you. I don't believe you need a body part to stand out to the point that in the most muscular, it made his chest look small. I don't think that's the benefit. But back to Jordan's physique, right? Let's say if everything grows, his arms still grow, right? If everything grows evenly, his arms will still be bigger. So let's imagine his physique 20 pounds bigger. Everything. Imagine more sweeps, more adductor, more calves, more lats with the same waist, more shoulders. I think that would be even more impressive than just bigger arms. But here's the point I'm making. I believe everything needs to be in balance. I don't believe you need to have big something, right? If everything if everything is big, you're good, right? So because the point I'm making is like you take a Dorian Yates, he didn't have big arms, but it wasn't small. Everything was in unison. You could say Phil had big arms, but Phil had a big chest. Phil had a big shoulders. Phil had big
But yeah,
quads. So it's like,
I think
you know,
you're differentiating exceptional arms
mm-hmm.
from big arms. There's two different things. Dorian Yates had big arms. They weren't exceptional. They
I
weren't Rolly
do feel
Winkler
like they
arms.
were a little
You
weak though.
can't
Compared
you
to
can't
Phil
say,
was
bro.
bad.
You
They
can't
were
you
good
can't
arms.
you can't say big arm because big. What I'm saying is big is a relative term. Big means in correlation to everything else. So they're not big. They're good for that physique. They fit that physique.
What
Big
I- what
has to be. Uh-huh.
what I'm saying is, when I look at arms, right? You look at it from a front double, you look at it from a side tricep.
Mhm.
If you see a front double and the body, the torso is actually a lot bigger than the actual body that is holding that physique, it needs more arms. You got to have that Donkey Kong looking, that Donkey Kong structure. You know what I mean? For a front double. That's where you say that those arms are solid. Side
Mhm.
tricep, the same thing. If you hit a side tricep and the torso is a lot, it's filling out a lot more than the actual arm, from the side, it can definitely say that that person needs more arm development in that particular shot. Am I the only one who feels this way, or
No,
I
bro. So it's
mean,
like, for example, it's
yeah,
like having really good quad sweeps without adductors. They're just gap
exactly,
fillers.
exactly.
It's filling gaps so you look more complete overall.
The
I
only
mean,
place
the
you can
thing
get
is,
away, the
dude,
only
like,
place you can get away with that is classic. Look at all the classic guys from
agreed.
the top 10. A
Mhm.
lot of them don't have big arms. You can get away with it in classic. Classic, they don't even hit a side tricep. So it doesn't look that crazy. Now look at the top 10 of the Olympia, and they don't have exceptional arms. None of them have exceptional arms, right?
Mhm.
Like if we're talking like a Phil Heath or Rolly Winkler or Lee Priest, but you
Mhm.
put them in those poses. Look at Tonio
See,
Burton from a front double. The
mhm.
arms, the arms are good. Look
I
at look at
just.
Derek
Mhm.
Lunsford. The arms are good. You
Okay,
know,
but then you said good. Okay, here's why I disagree. Right, you went to classic. You said okay, look at those guys. Their arms aren't like necessarily big. Okay, so their arms are what 4 or 5 inches smaller than open guys, but so are the legs.
no,
So are
the
their
the
waist.
in
You
proportion
know,
to the proportion to the torso. Look at Chris
I,
Bumstead's arms in proportion
mhm,
to his torso. Okay,
mhm.
look at Chris Bumstead in proportion to his torso. Look at, you know, we use the champion Derek Lunsford in proportion to his torso. I think that you do have to have some kind. Your arm has to be it has to be decent, bro.
It does.
I
No,
can't believe you can't see this. I don't know if you can,
no,
like.
no, no, because we're using different words. You're saying it
Yeah,
has to be decent.
I think I
That's
think
exactly
I
what I
think
said.
I
No, no,
think you're
but
measuring the arm from like a Lee Priest,
no,
a
no, no,
Lee
no, no,
Priest
no.
You're talking
perspective.
best arms in the world,
Yeah, like, bro, I'm
No,
not
no,
talking
no.
best arms.
Oh, because I feel like we're talking past each other. I'm saying it has to fit your physique, and that's
yeah.
what you just said. You said good
Mhm.
arms, then you said decent arms, then you said look at Derek Lunsford arm, the match with his physique. I'm saying the exact same thing. I'm just saying when you say big arms, that to me is proportion because big, like I said, if you measure my arms, they're 22 3/4. That's big, but it's irrelevant. It's how it looks on your body, right? So when I
No,
say
it
So
big,
is.
would you say, okay, let me give an example, right? Milos, when he was competing at his front double, his arms were proportional to his physique,
I
but
don't
he
think it was.
needed. You want to pull
I
him
don't
up?
think I don't think his arms until he started shooting Synthol. Then they were, but early on, I don't believe, because if you compare his
They
legs to
were.
his arms, I don't believe
From
they
what you're
were.
saying,
Mhm.
they weren't skinny arms, dude. They weren't Ronnie Coleman arms, but they weren't skinny. If you pull up a Milos front double, before all that stuff that happened, he had good arms. They weren't like blasting full. They were
I
good. They were
didn't.
proportional to his physique.
I didn't think they were. I didn't think they were
I think you
proportional.
also have to take into account too, like what is going to draw the judge's eye more. Because let's say the guy on the left has disproportionate arms and they're a little bit smaller, but the guy on the right has smaller legs for his physique. What's the
Mhm.
bigger weak point that people are going to see? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think arms are as big of a weak point as some other things like missing a back, missing legs. But in order to complete the physique 100%, like my eyes, because I've always wanted Nick Walker type arms, my eyes always gravitate to the guy with huge arms. Just
Yeah,
so
but
Nobody's like, people aren't losing shows or not getting their pro card because their arms aren't big.
no,
But
yeah.
but if you have smaller legs or smaller back, that's gonna do you a bigger disservice. So we're I feel like we're saying the same thing, but we're talking past each other because you guys said they have to be good, they have to be decent. I already said that they have to be good, they have to be decent. I'm just saying they don't have to be big. Not in comparison to Lee Priest or anybody. It's just for your body. I feel that Lee Priest's arms weren't big enough for his body. I mean, what I say, Milos, his arms weren't big enough for his body. I personally feel like Derek Lunsford's arms are big enough for his body, or like Regan or Heidi. I don't think they have big arms. I think it's proportionate. You know what I'm saying? And I think everything has to be proportionate. I don't think you should have big. Once you start saying big, everything should be big, right? So once you start saying, well, this guy has like Nick Zilla, he has big legs, that just means it's not a proportion. You shouldn't, when you look at Dexter, you don't say, oh, wow, Dexter got big arms, big legs, big shoulders. You just say Dexter has everything in the proportion. It's all big because Dexter is 5'7", 240 pounds. Everything is big. So you should be big. Okay, oh, Joe. You don't say, wow, look at Joe's arms are so big. Joe's legs are so big. You just say Joe is big because everything is in proportion. Say when I look at Jordan, I don't look at Jordan and say, wow, big shoulders, big quads. I just say Jordan is in proportion. So what I'm saying is symmetry has to be there. It's not about having big arms in itself. I've always had big arms. It's never done anything for me because everything else has to be in proportion, right? So would we all agree that everything has to be in proportion? It's not about
Oh,
having one thing big or other thing big, right?
definitely. I think we're saying the same thing, but I think where you're misconstruing, right? So like I think you're still putting that big category in the Lee Priest because Dexter Jackson did have good arms. You look at his arm, he's walking, just
But
the tricep is separating
you
from
said you said
the
good.
body.
You said good. I've been saying good. I said good to begin with. You see what I'm saying, right? So we're literally saying the same thing.
Yeah, maybe.
So
We're probably saying the
Has
same
big
thing.
so
arms
there's no
ever been a bad thing?
No.
no,
It
but
only helps you.
ha, ha, has big back ever been a bad thing, or has big legs ever been a bad thing?
Big legs, yes.
Like who? You give an example.
Big Rami.
Well, he still won Miss Olympia. Did Lee Priest or Flex Wheeler win Miss
But
Olympia?
he had to downsize to win Mr. Olympia.
I don't believe Big Ramy downside
I
Flex
think
at
Rami
all.
was I think Rami was just conditioning. They just wanted to see him in
But
better
Yeah,
he dropped
conditions.
like an addition when he won, he lost an additional like 15, 20 pounds.
but not on his leg. Everywhere he lost his triceps, he lost his back, everything downsized.
But he didn't keep
That's
the title
the
very long. He went all the way to fifth.
But he still won it, bro. He still won it. Rolly didn't win the Olympia with the biggest arms of all time. Lee Priest didn't win the Olympia with the biggest arms of all time.
No,
So
he
you
did.
got, huh?
Hey Steve, if you're
No, he
watching
did.
this, I
Yeah,
listen. You
but,
said
but
your legs are too big. You gotta get your legs down. Okay,
well,
Steve.
but Phil is known for his back more than he is for his arms. Let's be real. Let's
Yeah.
keep it a buck. Rolly
Yeah.
Rolly is known for his arms. That's it. You know. So you guys are agreeing with me. You're just saying different things. You know what I'm saying? Because
it's all about it's about the whole picture. Obviously, we
It's the
all
whole
know
picture.
that.
It's the whole
Exactly,
picture.
exactly. You know what I'm saying? So, when I see guys like Jordan, in my head, I'm like, the first thing I thought is that even Ken said it, like you're already in proportion. What are you trying to improve? And I always feel like people see flaws that may not be really a flaw. Maybe just because you compare your arms to like guys with big arms, but in reality, I personally believe, I'm not saying I'm right, but I'm not Steve Weinberger, but I believe if you grow perfectly even, like you've been doing, I feel like you're gonna beat most of these
And
guys
mark
just
my
because.
words, Neckzilla's legs are going to hurt him in the long run. It'll limit with his
Mhm.
placings.
What is
If those legs come in striated and detailed, it's
I
not
just,
I don't
hurting
think
anything.
I just don't
I don't
think,
think so.
the balance is there. It's my personal opinion,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
I just don't like it throws off his flow to me. I
Well,
don't like it.
Oh
for
yeah.
well,
who? For me?
the issue is he's narrow though. He has narrow clavicles. I don't think the legs is the issue. I think if he had wide clavicles like Ramy won because even though he had just as big legs like Neckzilla, but his shoulders are this wide. Neckzilla
Oh,
shoulders are this. I actually think Neckzilla has bigger arms than Ramy, but Ramy had wider clavicles, so it gave him the X frame. Neckzilla doesn't have the X frame because his shoulders, right? His shoulder width at least. So if he can create the illusion like Phil Heath and have crazy shoulders, he I don't think it's gonna hurt him, honestly. You know, I mean,
man,
it's like
he's just got a wild, like, freak factor look
The
that
freak
doesn't
factor,
have a,
yeah.
it's not
yeah, yeah.
pretty for sure. I mean, it's not got much flow at all, but it's like, how is
Mhm.
that much muscle on a human?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Do
it's an incredible physique. It's just not one that I like
No,
personally.
yeah,
I agree.
no, no,
I
no.
agree. I agree with you, Joe. But you know,
Yeah, I agree with
just like
you.
we were back to this topic. What Jordan is talking about. What we're talking about here is not um how great Jordan has a great physique already. What we're talking about is the difference between winning pro shows constantly. What
Mhm.
sets you apart? Winning pro shows takes you to the Olympia
Yeah,
versus the guy who is just a good bodybuilder, right? That's making first call outs.
Yeah,
yeah,
Big arms will set you apart for pro show wins. I'm a big believer in that. Like when you look at
mhm.
the guys, the guys that are winning shows constantly, a lot of them have a lot of the same traits from a structure standpoint, and big arms, me personally, I think it's one of those prereqs in open bodybuilding at least.
Mhm.
I have a question on that. What do you guys think about, like, so for instance, someone like Nathan Diasha that's won so many pro shows, but he's like torn his bicep. Has he torn one or two? Did he tear
Two,
both?
he tore two. Yeah,
So do you guys see the difference in his arms now post
they look
tearing his
better.
biceps? You think it
They
looks
actually
better?
look better now. Yeah, they look better now. He has because
Nathan's
I don't
arms?
even. Yeah, they look better now because I don't know what the surgeon did, but that guy must be a pro because
it almost gave more of a peak, huh?
yeah, his arms are solid now. Like if you pull up his last two
Mhm.
shows, I think his arms are one of his strong points now.
I just brought that
Do,
up because I didn't remember what they looked like prior to the surgery, and I wondered if that hurt him or helped him because obviously couldn't have hurt him too much because he's
do
still
you
winning shows.
do you think Nathan's physique overall is better now than it was 5 years ago?
No, I don't
I
myself.
No,
don't think so. Yeah,
no,
I don't
yeah,
think so.
yeah, because I mean Nathan has so many looks, right? That's also the problem. Like each show he's brought in a look that's completely different. But my favorite look from him was New York Pro, I think 2015
Yeah, I
or
was gonna say the same.
2016. Yeah,
I got a
where he
question.
was blasting full. Yeah.
I got another question. Right? Why did Samson beat Nick at the Arnold if Nick was in better condition and had bigger arms?
I think it was
Because
the
you guys
Structure.
like the big arms.
Structure.
yeah, the
What did Joe say?
structure balance.
Joe said the balance.
The balance of the
That's funny.
structure.
The
That's funny
structure.
because you guys didn't say balance when I was talking about the arms. You guys said big arms, but he
No, no,
had
no,
bigger
no.
arms and bigger.
We said in balance to the physique.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
No, no, no. You were fighting us. We're trying to tell you that's what we're saying. And he was saying that you're saying like, oh, overly big arms, like the Rollies, the Lee Priest and stuff. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the Derek Lunsford arms, the ones that are
That's
they're
not big.
big, but they're
That's the
big
problem
for
right there. That is the
that.
problem
That's
right
what we're
there.
saying. Like they're not big, big. but they match his physique perfectly. There's balance in his physique with those arms.
That's what I'm saying.
Everything else is big on the body too. It's like everything's
yeah,
exactly. Not extra things.
Well, that's my point. That was my whole point, saying that everything is big. So if big is a relative term, if everything is big, nothing is big. Then if we're all big, if everybody in the world was 300 pounds, then nobody's big, right? So when I say big, it means in proportion to the body. That's why I say Nexilla's legs is big, because in comparison to his upper body, right? But if you say Derek's arms are big, well, so is his back, so is his shoulder.
Let me ask you. Let this fentanyl go, bro. Let this fentanyl go.
Like what you're saying, if you have big arms, but it takes away from your physique, like say you turn around and you have no back but huge arms, it's gonna hurt you.
Well, Nick Walker has a great back though,
but he has freak arms. Like
that's my point. That's my point. So his arms being big actually affected. It actually made him less aesthetic, right? Because it's bigger than the rest of his body. So your arms should be perfectly matched for your body, not big for your body. So what's your guys?
I said overly big arms with underdeveloped other body parts looks bad.
Yeah, Bitey, look at this from a pro bodybuilder's perspective. We're not talking amateurs. Most people in the pro ranks, their body is developed. Now, we're talking about what can accentuate the physique, what can set you apart from the regular pros on the scene. Everyone's got legs, everyone's got back, everyone's got a chest. If you have big arms, right? If you have big arms, that is what completes your physique from a side tricep shot, from a front double. I'll give an example, right? Andrew Jacked arms could use a little bit more. Andrew could use a little bit more arms. I think we can all agree on that.
Okay. Hold on one second. But Andrew could use more back and more legs. So it's not just the arms, it's everything, bro. Everything has to, everything has to be perfect. You can't give credence more to one body part than another. Everything has to be perfect. So it's not just, you know what I'm saying? So we can't use the word big arm. We have to say everything has to be in proportion. That's it. There's no you need big legs. You need big everything. So the point is that
I just want you to put big ass arms on Andrew Jacked and think about every shot that would look better with big arms only.
Okay, bigger back.
Like if nothing else could improve, but the arms, I guarantee you, Andrew Jack's whole physique would look drastically different every shot.
It would.
If he had a bigger back, if he had a bigger back and everything stayed the same right now, he would actually be asymmetrical. He would actually look worse because the arms, the limbs are a bit skinny. So a bigger back is just going to throw off his entire structure. Versus if he had bigger arms right now, it would actually still accentuate his physique. That's what we're trying to say.
This is what I'm trying to say. How about this? How about if he had bigger arms, and he had a bigger back?
No. Just one. Pick one.
No.
Pick one.
No.
If you had to pick one.
Don't pick one. No. You don't have to pick one. That's the point. Don't pick one. Improve everything. Improve all your weaknesses. That's like me saying. That's like me saying.
Let's move on. We'll give the audience to decide. Let's let the audience decide because I'm gonna die on this hill, bro.
Debate.
There's not one man in that fucking comment section.
Debate is good.
Like, I don't mind having small arms. I would love to have small arms.
but you see, that's what I'm not saying. That's my whole point. My whole point is don't have small anything.
We'll leave it at that. Don't have small anything.
Jordan is the only one that says what I'm saying. My point is don't have small anything and don't have big anything. Have big everything. So don't say, okay, well, only arms will make him look better. I would agree, but I would agree that if he wanted to beat these other guys, he would also need a bigger back. He would also need bigger legs. He would need bigger everything because he's 6'3", right?
But his arms only. We're not going to start up the calves conversation, right?
No, we're not going to do that. But okay, if you measure Andrew's arms, they're probably bigger than everybody, right? Because he's 6'2",
it's relative to his height. Yeah, it's his limbs.
That's the whole point of this conversation. It's relative to your body. Don't compare it to other people. Only on your body. If he goes everything, and comes in peeled, that's what he needs to do. He doesn't only need to bring up the arms. I don't only need to bring up my back. I need to bring up my hamstrings and my glutes. So it's not a one body part fix. You know what I'm saying? I will say this.
This what I'm going to say, and I'll let the viewers decide.
Let me tell you.
Arms accentuate a physique. Does
100%.
big arms accentuate a physique?
It's like the NBA, bro.
That's it. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
It can go a long way.
Jordan's got good arms right now, but if Jordan's arms were bigger, it accentuates his physique. That's all I'm saying.
That was never the topic because I 100% agree.
That was the topic.
No,
Jordan never said he had small arms. He never said he had small arms. He said he wanted bigger arms.
I didn't start this convo because of Jordan. I just decided to start it because I was having this with somebody else. The same debate I had with somebody else. But I didn't start this because of Jordan. I started it because I just wanted to start it because this was a debate I had. And it was a good debate. That's why I'm somebody who likes to debate because I'm not going to agree with you just to agree with you. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, because the point I'm trying to make, one thing I noticed is that people say the same thing in different ways. And then they just talk over each other. I get what you guys are saying. I'm just trying to get you guys to understand that I'm saying the same thing, but it applies for everything. Because you're saying arms accentuate the physique. I agree. I think you look a lot more aesthetic with big arms. But I think you look.
This is what I'm saying, right? This is what I'm saying. Let's use another bodybuilder. And after this, I'll rest my case. Let's look at Carlos Thomas Jr. Carlos, if you look at him from a front double, right? Pull him up. Look at him from a front double. We always talk about his quads, right? His quads are massive. But what is the other body part that stands out on that front double? It's not his chest. It's not his abs. It's the arms. That's what completes the physique.
But his physique isn't complete. He still needs the back.
Yeah, he still needs a back, right? Now, if you give him a bigger back and you reduce those arms, does he still look good in the front double?
But he doesn't need to reduce the arms. His arms are good with
the arms accentuate.
Of course
the
they do.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
We already agreed on that. Of course it does. But his bigger lats would accentuate his physique as well. Do you agree with that?
Of course.
Okay, so there's no argument then.
The argument was if we're talking about, because Jordan wants bigger arms. Obviously, we want to grow everything. But if you have to choose between,
I wasn't talking about Jordan. Jordan is separate from the conversation. Yeah, if Jordan had bigger arms, would it accentuate his physique? Great, yes, it would. That's awesome. Yeah. But then I said if he had bigger sweeps, it would accentuate his physique as well. Jordan is separate from the conversation. The conversation was that does big arms win shows? Basically, like after we talk about Jordan, I was okay. Let's talk about arms. Do you actually need big arms to win shows? Or do you just need to be in balance, basically? You know what I'm saying? For what your body looks like. You know what I'm saying?
So after every show, we all look at ourselves in the mirror and we're about to take on our off season. We say, okay, we need this, 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 and this. Exactly. What are we doing? We're seeing where we're lagging and we're seeing, okay, if you add this to this and this, it will create an aesthetic flow and balance to the physique. That's all I need to do. I'll have a better package.
Exactly.
That's all we're saying.
Exactly. So what about me? If I had bigger arms, would I be a better bodybuilder? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I think, and your physique in particular, it won't hurt you, but I think there's other spots that I'd rather put the mask.
I think it would hurt me. I think it would make my chest look smaller, my back look smaller, and my legs look smaller.
Not if everything grew evenly.
Exactly. Exactly. No. But no. I think it's good to have these debates because these are debates I actually have in real life. Believe it or not, we're random people at the gym. I'll literally stop and have like a 30-minute debate with somebody, and they get a little awkward. I'm like, okay, they get uncomfortable. But I'm like, don't get uncomfortable because I'm not fighting with you or even my own girl. I'll do this with her, right? And then she'll get mad and like leave. And I'm like, why are you getting mad? It's a debate, you know? And it's like, you don't actually have to agree with me. You can say Beatty, like Kenny, right now you can be like, Beatty, I still disagree with you. Big arms, you'll look better.
Let's look at this guy. What's the name of that guy that went against Nexzilla, the amateur guy, the shoulder guy? I don't know his name. Shoulder guy. Shorter guy's got big arms.
Yeah, he has big arms. big arm
Shorter
and
guy's
big
got
shoulder.
big
Yeah.
arms.
He
Does
does.
he have
He
a back?
looks insane.
No.
He has
Does he have a back?
at all.
No.
No.
But what makes his physique look complete? Where people are saying this
He don't
guy
look
can be
complete.
on the pro. No,
He don't look
hear me
complete
out.
though.
Not
He don't look
literal, not
complete.
literal,
Okay,
not
okay.
literal. But what people are saying is like this guy already looks like a pro, right?
Mhm.
What are the body parts that are making him stand out? If
His
he had a
shoulders?
bigger back, if he had a bigger back and small arms,
His shoulders.
Yeah, his fucking shoulders.
He's fucking shoulder guy. That's like saying, oh,
we call him the shoulder guy.
I don't even
But-
know his
Shoulder
name,
guy
bro. It's
next
just shoulder
door.
guy, bro.
But I mean, okay, if we're talking
Frog
about
was
standing,
crazy.
I will say this though. Somebody already said it earlier. If we're talking about standing out, because he didn't win, right? If we're talking
Yeah.
about standing out, not being a better body, just standing out, freaky body parts help, like Nexzilla. Nexzilla didn't win. Shoulder guy didn't win. Oh, but they stood out. They stood out for sure. It's cool. I think big arms make your physique look more pleasing, at least to me, but not to the judges. You
I
know,
think it's also different.
unless you need it.
It
If
gives
you
It's
you-
need
also
it,
different online. Like these guys that have these freaky body parts, they're the ones that get all the hype.
for
The
sure,
guys that
100%.
are balanced don't get as much hype because there's no freak show factor in their physique in the picture until they stand next to
100%. That's why when I'm getting ready for the show, you see me do this shit all day long, right? And everybody's like, "Oh fuck, this guy is big. Oh look at his." But all I'm showing you is my arms and shoulders. You're not seeing shit else. And then they're like, "Oh fuck, this guy. Oh, look at that." You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
so it's like
arms and like big arms and shoulders on
It
a
looks cool.
bodybuilding physique, open bodybuilding physique, bro. You can never have enough arms and shoulders. That is what makes you look like a heavy hitter, man. It's I'll leave it at that. Shorter guy
Yeah.
is my perfect example. I'm sorry if I don't know your name. Shorter guy is a perfect
Shoulder
example,
guy.
bro.
Whenever,
But
when I first saw Phil Heath, I didn't YouTube, how do I get Phil Heath back? I looked at how do I get this motherfucker's arms?
Mhm.
100%.
I think we all started out wanting big arms. Before
Of
we
course.
got that.
I mean,
Yeah.
not even started out. We all still do.
Yeah.
But like you guys just agreed, it wouldn't make me a better bodybuilder personally. You know,
And I think Beatty, what part of the issue with you is because you've always had big arms, so you don't really see it as anything. It's always been a standout body part on your physique.
Mhm.
If you don't have big arms, it is a glaring weakness on the physique. Like
if you have small arms,
you have small arms.
Yes,
It's
of course.
a glaring weakness versus if you had a small back and
Now
big arms.
try having small legs. You wouldn't like that very much.
Yeah.
You can go, you do
Things
physique.
depend on the
You can go
shot,
into
too.
physique. Yeah, you
It
go
all
into
depends
physique,
on
man.
it depends on the
But-
shot.
Yeah.
Like what shot you're hitting, you know, like some guys have a really strong side leg with some sweeping hamstrings, but then every other shot of their legs, like you're like,
Yeah.
what happened to their legs? Or the guy, the shoulder guy, he turns around and you know, those shots are drastically different. It doesn't even look like the same physique.
Yeah.
I feel like we just pulled like a bro chat just now. You know how Ian and Fuad go on for like
The
an hour
debates,
debate.
I was thinking that the whole time, bro. This
Well,
one lasted for sure 40 minutes.
the only difference is that Ian and Fuad sometimes use like they go deep.
They
I'm
get
like, oh
mad.
fucking idiot. I'm like, oh whoa, chill.
They get legit mad.
But the good thing is that once it's over though, they're chill, you know. But I think it's important to be able to debate, because you don't have to agree. Because I also still don't agree. I still disagree with you, Ken.
Yeah,
just for
I
the
still don't agree, bro. You're my bro, but I don't agree, dude.
that happened with a couple of things. We talked about Crizzo. We were talking about Crizzo versus Nexzilla. But it's like bodybuilding is a sport of opinion, right? Like I personally had Derek winning. I'm sure some of you maybe had Hadi winning. I don't know.
I had
Anybody have
Hadi
Hadi
winning.
winning? You see what I'm saying? Derek.
Yeah.
So you see how that works? It's like, are the judges right? I mean, according to the history, they are. But no offense, but like that's their opinion. You know what I'm saying? We can have a different opinion. So when it comes to bodybuilding, everything is subjective. I personally like bigger arms. So it's funny I'm saying this after this whole argument, but that's a preference, right? You know, where I'm looking at who's winning. Like you said, I've always had big arms, and I don't feel like it's helped me on stage. You know, what I'm saying personally, um, I'm sure it did in some ways, but I feel like guys like Zayd have turned pro before me who have. I wouldn't say he did have weak arms. Now I think his arms are almost there, close enough,
Like
right?
when and after this, I don't want to talk about this. We've already been going 40
Yeah,
minutes, but
way too long.
if we look at Mr. Olympias and stuff, I think of the only Mr. Olympia that I think of that, when we're talking about is like Sean Roden, right? Sean Roden's physique was perfect, but Sean Roden had smaller arms. Let's be real. Put
So did like Haney and Dorian. I would say like in comparison to the rest of their body, they didn't have big arms. You know, I think Sean Roden's arms was enough, but it wasn't big by any means. No.
Now
Yeah.
put bigger arms on Sean Roden. Leave
He looks
everything the
insane.
same. He looks insane. He
Of
looks
course he does.
insane.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They accentuate the physique. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
We all agree. We all agreed on that
Good.
because
We agree.
yeah, we all agree
Yeah, we agree.
because like you said, Sean Roden's arms they're not that good. You know, they were decent. So add big arms to him, way better. You know, add big arms to Brandon Curry. I don't think that's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? But let's leave it at that, Ken.
Let's leave it at that. Let's leave it at that.
I feel like you want to say something.
3 times.
But let me say, but let me say one more thing, and that's it. I'm gonna stop now.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I feel like we should do questions because we've been on for a minute. All right, let's get some questions. But also, let me ask: are you in off season, Jordan?
Yeah. We're kind of planning to wrap the off season up here in the next several weeks. So,
I got one more week on my own.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
I saw your post, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you
Pick out, you but that's the same thing, right? I think you're
yeah. What have you picked a show? Can you announce it publicly if there's a show you're aiming for next season?
You asking me or Joe?
You.
You.
I'm not going to announce it. I'm going to say around August time. I'm going to pick July, August. There's going to be a few shows.
If I give you $70, would you tell me?
I'm throwing around. I'm thinking Chicago may be the first show, and I'm going to try to do a few.
Ooh, I didn't even have to give him the 70, but
And
I got you later.
Is Stu doing Chicago? Stu is, right?
Stu is doing a bunch.
He was doing all of them. Yeah, he's doing all the
Yeah,
shows.
I think he said Chicago is one of them, right?
I think he's going to hit every
one
American
towards
show.
the end of what he's doing that he may hit, but I know he was going to do several. Like he's even doing New York, isn't he?
Doing New York,
New York, Cal,
Cali, Vancouver, right? Vancouver Pro.
Yeah, he's doing Vancouver.
But he said even if he wins, he might keep going. He said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you think he will actually keep going if he knows he's qualified?
No.
I think to a point.
Go for that long for 6 shows, 7 shows. Like, oh my gosh.
Let's say what I mean, if Nexzilla is doing New York Pro, that's different. But let's say if he won New York, I think he would still do Cal because he's looking forward to it, coming to California and the whole thing. But would he continue to do all the other shows? I don't know. You know, that's hard to do.
I think if he won the first one, he'd probably do the next one or after that. But
I think
but
so.
if he was like 3 deep, and he wins that show, I think he's calling it a day. That's what I think.
And I'll be honest with you guys. Like my last prep, I felt like I could have sustained that for months and months and months.
Yeah, for sure, you could have.
Felt so good, but for considering the only reason I didn't continue is I didn't really want to wait all the way to Legion to start my off season after Texas Pro.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if it was that kind of situation again, I probably wouldn't mind to just keep stringing shows along like that if I were Stu. If I felt that way, if it was rough though, and I was depleted though, I don't know.
What if you won?
I mean, if I won and I was feeling that good, I'd probably jump into a couple more shows, unless I was really trying to make some crazy improvements prior to the Olympia. I guess
My only fear is this, right? like, okay, I know some people say, well, if you're scared of competition, don't compete or whatnot. But I don't think it's about being scared of competition. I think sometimes you're stuck. I think if you win a show, like I think Hunter won Tex. No, he went. Which show did he win?
Chicago,
Tampa,
Chicago.
Chicago,
Hunter won
or
Tampa.
Tampa,
Tampa, Tampa,
Tampa.
Tampa, Tampa. Yeah.
And then he lost to Andrew Jack a couple weeks later. I don't think that's a I don't think there's any benefit to that personally. You know, do you guys agree? Like if you
I
win a
agree.
show and then lose, I don't think it's that. Or you win a show and then you get fourth or something like that. Sometimes in my head, I'm like, if you win a show, unless you're 100% confident that you're gonna win the show no matter what, which Hunter probably was confident he was gonna win it though. You know, I don't see. So that's why sometimes I'm like, if you win a show, maybe you should take that time to just recover, bro,
Well,
or
do you
make
think it makes a
improvement.
difference if you're like a top, five guy, top 10, well, we'll say like top 10 guy
Mhm.
versus the rest of the lineup in the Olympia? Like, do you think that makes a difference? Because, like, maybe some guys know they're not, it's their first Olympia, they're not going to be inside the top 10. Maybe another show and another paycheck would be worth it for them, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think once you're in that top 10 bracket, it matters. So I'll give an example, right? This Arnold that's coming up, Andrew Jack has decided to step in. Say like a guy like Rubio beats Andrew at the Arnold. That
That's not
changes a
good.
lot. That
That's not
Mm-hmm.
changes
good.
a lot
Yeah.
for his stock, right?
Mhm.
So I think once you're in that top six or you're in the potential to jump into the top five bracket, it changes it. The shows that you do and who you lose to matters. I mean, when I know it's the Mr. Olympia, but when Ronnie lost to Gunter in 2002, look
That
at the
wasn't good.
waves. That wasn't good at all, right? Like people were saying, "Oh, Gunter's the next Mr. Olympia."
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
have to
So
agree with you on that. I think if
yeah,
I was, I think like, your first year winning a pro show and qualifying, and maybe you're not delusional of knowing where you're at. You know you're not going to be in that like top 5, 6 guys. Maybe that's when you say, okay, like I'm not going to make crazy improvements in this next couple weeks between now and the next show versus if I didn't do the next show, maybe you still
Yeah.
jump in. I mean, that would be my thought process. Whereas if I'm looking at, in Olympia, I'm looking at like top 6, I would definitely be shutting it down and focusing just on the Olympia.
Because okay, if you kind of weigh out your career longevity and bring in the best look, what's more conducive to bringing your best look at the Olympia? Right, you're already qualified. You can't double qualify, right? Now, if you get second or third in most of these shows, you're getting I don't know, 5 grand, 4 grand, 3 grand. I don't think that's making anybody's year or paycheck. And that's
You're
not
right.
doing anything for anybody. So what's the pros, right? The pros to not competing is that you might get to come off a cycle, have a mini health phase, or make improvements. The cons, I mean, the pros to doing another show is maybe win 5 grand or maybe lose, maybe lower your stock. I mean, you like I said, you're already qualified. So wouldn't you want to bring your best look possible to the Olympia? That's how I would look at it. And longevity. How many shows do you have? Guys like you, guys like Jordan and Stu, you guys can eat quite a bit of food on prep. So I don't think it takes as big of a toll because you don't have to do 3 hours of cardio and no food. So I think that will shorten your career quite some time if you do a lot of shows on fucking 1,500 calories, you know. But guys like you can probably or like Roman, right, can do more shows and get away with it. But are you improving? I don't know. Maybe you should be taking,
Prep.
I don't know.
Not usually in prep, right? I mean, it's true. If you need the extra time to improve, and I guess it
Yeah.
depends on how long you're stringing those shows along for. Like if you got to
Good
wait
point.
5 weeks for the next show, or if it's just
Yeah.
the next weekend or 2 weekends away,
That's
maybe.
fine. Yeah. Yeah. No, good point. Yeah. Like New York to Cali, that's just a week. You'll be fine. Yeah. All right. All right. Let's get into questions. First question. Do you need big arms or do you need to be in proportion?
It's fucking guys.
yes, you need big arms.
Yep, have to. 22s and up.
This is actually an interesting question. I used to wonder this, but what's the what's the difference in cap colors for generic HGH? Like, you know how they had the green tops, the blue tops, stuff like that. Uh, do you guys know if there's any difference?
And you guys are going to call me bougie. I saw one of your podcasts talking about Sarah Stem being a flex. So I don't know about the color caps, bro.
Sarah
We
Stim
all know
Flex,
he,
man.
yeah, for real. We all know what he thinks.
Well, so one time I actually asked the distributor or whatever the people in China that I used to get it from, and they were like, "It's the same thing, just different colors." And I was like, "So what's the point of different colors?" And she was like, "Ah, just same thing." I was like, "Okay." So
I thought it was different grades. I don't know. I
yeah,
don't know, but I thought that there were different grades based on the tops.
the
But
color, yeah,
I've
yeah,
used some in the past and I've ordered some more recently, but never ended up jumping into it. I don't know. I mean, I've heard the grays are hot. Some certain ones like you retain less water, right? Is what I've heard.
yeah, yeah. Farm grade, I will say you hold a little bit less water on farm grade usually, but that's about it from my experience personally. All right. Your favorite, oh, this is from Sid Rye. Your favorite physique when it turned pro. Flex. Oh, it doesn't have to be this. It could be anybody. But he gave an example. Flex 92 USA, Kevin 91 Nets, Cormier 93 USA. But it doesn't have to be those guys. It could be anybody. Your favorite physique at the pro qualifier when they got their pro card.
Hmm.
That's a good one.
that's a really good one.
I feel like I'd have to look up pictures to actually really give a good
To
judgment.
know, right? I've seen a few in person, but huh, should I pull some up?
I
Who do
would
we actually
say
know?
I would say USA's 2023 Joseph Palacios.
Go ahead. That's a good one. I think
I mean,
I might have to
That's
go
my favorite
Phil.
of all time.
I was gonna say Phil for me is a pretty recent one. I feel like Phil was one of the recent ones. But if I had to pick, I feel like the most popular physique term pro, it has to be Kevin Levrone Nationals, right?
Oh yeah.
Because yeah,
That's
Kevin
what
Levrone
jumped.
Nash, yeah, he went straight into, you know,
Yeah, good
the
point.
pro shows, and then he came third at the Olympia. So I mean, if I had to pick, I would say Kevin Levrone.
Well, Flex
Um,
Wheeler did the same shit, no?
yeah, but I think Flex, I feel like Flex was a little bit smaller. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but Flex Wheeler kind of did the same thing. Yeah. But I
He
feel
went
like
like third and
Levrone is the
second
most,
place.
yeah, Levrone is the most popular when it comes to amateur turning pro, like that physique.
Yeah.
You
What
know,
year
I
I
don't
did
even
mean,
remember
Flex
what
go
Jay
pro?
Cutler looked like.
well, because he didn't win overall. He had lost it to some guy that didn't really do much at the
Oh,
pro.
Jay
So
Cutler didn't win overall? Oh, that's yeah.
no,
I didn't
and
know that.
neither did Branch Warren. Branch Warren lost to Johnny Jackson, believe it or not.
Brandon Curry's
That's
had a pretty good
crazy.
one too.
I mean,
But
I just looked up a picture of Phil Heath when he won, dude. He looked absolutely nuts.
yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now
I
too.
don't know.
But
That's
let me
crazy.
see. Let me see if I can share it. But yeah, but I feel like I feel like they all look pretty fucking crazy. But who were the ones that were ready to go right into it without any time off? Um, shit. I mean, you can make a case for Andrew Jack because he went straight into it too.
Yeah.
You know?
I would say in recent times, if we want to bring it full circle, because we love to talk about amateurs here.
Yeah,
Recent times, I would say Andrew Jacked, Nick Walker, Beef
yeah.
Stew.
Carlos Samis.
Carlos took a year
He took
Yeah,
two.
after he turned pro.
but like the way he looked pretty freaky.
Yeah,
Not shredded,
yeah,
but freaky. I mean,
pretty
Phil
freaky. Yeah,
Phil didn't even have like tan on. It looked like he didn't even tan for this shit. But I mean, he didn't need the tan to win this one.
yeah,
And it's funny because his back wasn't that thick back here, but it came up so fast. It was good, but it came up a lot more. You know,
Look at
yeah.
that. He
Because I
has big
remember.
ass arms.
you know, yeah. You know who was filming this video as well? Adam
No,
Silver. You
Frozen
know
on
Adam.
my screen.
Oh, you guys can't see it?
no.
It's paused.
It's frozen. Yeah.
Oh, oh shit! It's working on mine. Can you guys see it now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we can see it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah,
Adam
but he
Silver, like Larry Wheels' guy.
yeah, that because he was the one that owned USA Muscle, and then he also owned
Mm.
he still owns StrengthNet.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember them from New York. Look at those arms, bro.
Crazy.
Those
He's
are
just
big arms,
so
man.
bubbly, man. It's nuts.
That torso is on balance, but those arms are kind of accentuating the physique. You know what I mean? Like,
Look, the quads too though. Don't sleep on the quads.
It
I mean,
almost like his arms take over a lot there.
it does,
yeah,
yeah. But then that's why he had to fall back on arms and then double up on back. You know what I'm saying? His chest was
bro.
actually pretty good.
You know what? Looking at this, he's all arms, bro. In fact, he's all arms in that top
100%.
shelf.
I was thinking of that fucking whole time.
Yeah, no, he was. But most of his career, you know, he didn't train arms at all, right?
You don't need to.
He didn't train
Yeah.
until prep because at this point of his career, if he would have grew everything evenly, he would have literally just been all arms because his back was good though, but his back wasn't nowhere. It wasn't Mr. Olympia back at all. You
I
know?
would love to not have to train arms and just train like push, pull legs, and that's it.
They're so boring, right? They're so boring to train. Like, I agree.
Yeah, no, they are. But I think it would be even cooler if my legs were just massive and I could just bullshit on leg day. You know what I'm saying? I could just come in and just do whatever I wanted and kind of just do extensions. Like imagine if you're Nick Zilla and you could just do leg extensions and walk out. You know what I'm saying?
What he
But
needs to
arms are,
do.
huh?
That's what he needs to do. I don't know what he
That's what
is. Training legs hard still. Like he needs to
I,
stop.
I couldn't tell you. But like is arm day fun for y'all? I don't find arm day fun.
I
I
like the
hate
way
it.
I look on arm day. That's about it.
Yeah, I do too, yeah.
I find
Me
it
too.
fun knowing that I'm trying to get it bigger.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy it, man.
Well, but that might be it because you got big arms, right? Ken,
You know?
Yeah, I mean,
Ken.
my arms for my I wouldn't say they're big. I'd say for my physique, yeah, they're ahead. You know,
So
yeah.
so when you train it, you don't train it like crazy, balls to walls, right?
No, no.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's why it's not fun for us because we don't train it like with the idea like, yo, I want to get big ass arms, right? So it's not that fun when you just train just to train, you know?
It's still not
Yeah.
fun for me though either. And I would love to. I would love to get bigger arms. And it's just boring to me. Like I like more compound movements. I don't like just doing a single joint movement the whole.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll
Yeah.
I
do
love
the
pretty.
machine, but what did you say?
I said I love doing the pretty shit. It's
For
fun
real?
for me. But hey, I can breathe doing these.
That's true. That's true.
Joe's just trying to catch his breath doing his workout.
Yeah,
That's
bro.
all.
When I do those squats, bro, I can't breathe for quite some time.
Dude, Joe, I don't think you could do leg day with me because lately with my adductor, I've been staying in like the 15 rep range. Like
Oh
my
my god.
my
Oh.
hack squats the other day, I recorded the set, and the set was a minute and a half long.
Oh
Yeah.
my god. Yeah,
Holy
see,
shit.
like
Joe,
I
what's
did
your
legs
rest
on
period?
Friday, and I did 5 plates for 15 reps, but that was the last set, and I was down for a while. That wasn't the end of the workout.
Yeah, Joe, how much time between sets do you take for rest periods?
Like on leg day in particular, or any
Just on average. Just on average.
probably like because I'm always training with Paul.
It's back
So
and forth,
yeah,
yeah.
his set, and then Paul takes a while sometimes because he's just as heavy as me. But he, I would say like probably 3 minutes when I'm training with him. I'll
Okay.
get like that long of a break.
Really?
Okay.
How long do you take, Ken?
I take usually like 45
Yeah,
seconds.
me
to-
too.
You train by
Yeah.
yourself,
max.
right?
Low
Yeah,
key, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, when you
Yeah.
have Paul with you,
Yeah, you
this
go back and
motherfucker can't
forth.
breathe either. Like it takes some time. When I'm by myself, I will get done no more than an hour for sure.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
5 movements in and out. But when I have Paul there, we're going heavy as fuck. He's breathing, and I'm trying to breathe, and he's sucking up my air. I was like,
On
it takes some
on
time.
show on shoulder day and arm day, I'll rest like 20 seconds, probably in
But
between
look how
sets.
long our workout took. When you
Yeah,
worked out with us,
yeah, because we had three guys. Yeah,
see, it just takes a while. Like when you're by yourself, though, your rest period is super short. Like
yeah,
when I do
yeah,
side laterals, I'll wait like fucking 30 seconds. I'll go do them
yeah.
again.
Go again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when it was the three of us, we didn't take any actual rest. It was just one after the other, after the other, after the
Yeah, that's
other.
what I'm saying. So by the time you're done with
Yeah,
your set, just time has
Yeah.
passed. Like,
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
feel
Good
like in
point.
general, I take longer rest periods than you guys. Like I train by myself for the most part. It kind of depends on what exercises I'm doing. Like
Mm,
squats, I need more time between the sets, but
for sure.
I mean, I generally try to push my rest to where I'm recovered for that next set to be able to perform well enough. Like I don't generally shorten it to 45 seconds or anything like that.
Mhm.
Probably a minute and a half, 2 minutes, even on like a shoulder day or an arm day.
Like
That's
yeah,
crazy.
so
Jordan always comes off to me like somebody who's in like good physical shape, right? Like somebody who had like a good. I just imagine for some reason he had like a good cardio or something. I don't know.
I
well,
mean,
he
I
said
do
15
cardio
reps
year
is like
round for
290.
sure. What did you say?
Huh?
I
Yeah,
missed what Joe said.
what you said, Joe?
Oh, I said, well, he's 290, fucking doing 15 reps. I
Yeah,
Well, I
yeah.
mean, so for instance, right now, my coach, we've been talking. He keeps wanting me to up my cardio intensity, and so we were talking the other day. I'm like, bro, I like to get my heart rate up and push to like around 145 heart rate on my cardio. I'm doing stairs, pushing the stairmaster for 20 minutes, dude. It's rough, and I'm doing that 5 days a
Nice.
week for 20 minutes.
Oh shit,
I
I don't know
I
about
do
that.
cardio all year, so
Yeah, me too. I only do stairs. I feel like stairs is the only thing I can get that kind of benefit
I
from. Right
haven't done it
now,
in a while, dude, and it's rough getting back
Bro,
yeah.
to it.
I think Joe will agree with me. I can't physically do stairs in the off season. Like after
Justin
two
cut my
minutes,
cardio.
bro. After 2 minutes, my legs are locked. They're done. It's like my legs get so pumped and literally lock up. You know,
I
I
have a
don't
hard
know.
time getting in the truck after I do stairs. I have to sit like in a squat down crouch position to stretch my quads for a
Uh-huh.
few minutes
Yeah.
before I walk out of the gym, or they'll lock up after I get
How
up.
tall are you, Jordan?
I'm just under 5'10".
Oh shit! So I mean, technically, you're like you're pretty much the same weight as me. If you're like a couple inches shorter than me,
Hmm.
but you don't come off like you feel heavy. It seems like it feels like you
I
move
mean,
fine.
I
Like
feel heavy. I'm telling
okay,
you right now, but
I was like,
maybe I don't seem like it. I don't know, but it's hard to put
Mhm.
my socks on. That's for sure.
Okay, okay.
oh,
Oh,
that's the
well.
worst.
Carries it well. You carry it well.
Thanks.
Better than
Kind of
me.
look taller, right? He kind of looks like a tall guy, you
I
know?
thought he was tall. I thought you were like 5'11".
Yeah,
Oh,
he looks taller. All right, let's do another question. What was your most successful off season? Calories and cycle. That's a good one. Who are we gonna start with? Let's start with Joe.
I've had like fucking 3 successful ones.
I mean, every single offseason for Joe is like a 25 pound offseason. So
So like for my very first off season ever, my show weight um, was 187. The start of my prep for the California, I was 239, and then the start of my prep for the USA's, I was 267,
wait,
and then
but let's go by stage weight. What was the biggest increase in stage weight from one offseason to the other?
so the I guess the Cal. So
Mhm.
I was natty in that first show, and then the second show at the Cal. So I was 187 on stage, and at the Cal I was 218.
Well, should we count the natty one, or should we go by like a year that he was already in
I
there?
guess not. So for the USA's,
Mhm.
I went. So sorry, the Cal I was 218 on
Mhm.
stage. USA's I was 230.
Boom. Okay, so that's what 22. How much weight is that? Oh, 12. How much pounds is that? I'm way off,
It's
Well,
but
not much. It's only like 12, but He
It's not much.
remember I was ready about 232.
Yeah.
So I should have my stage weight should have been about 235 for USA's, but he
Yeah, I
pulled
think
me
so.
back a little farther.
Hmm. But I mean, it didn't hurt you because you were shredded, you know? Fuck it.
Yeah,
A
I'm
little.
pretty sure for the Cal Pro, based on what things are looking like and stuff, I'll probably come in around like the real low 240s,
Hmm.
or like between like 238 and 243 would be my guess of number.
Hmm. So the other part of the question was, what was your peak calories during that off season for the USA's, and then what was your cycle for that off season?
So the peak calories was 6,200,
Damn.
and then bro, the peak calories right now are like 7,500. So that's a huge difference.
Jeez.
Holy shit. That's all. That sounds crazy.
Ridiculous.
That sounds painful.
That
It
sounds
is.
pretty
I was
crazy.
telling Beatty before he got on, I'm eating cookies and shit to just get him down.
My stomach sometimes can't. Last night I had like Mexican food, like just not even crazy. I just had tacos and like some enchiladas, like no cheese or anything, right? And oh man, my stomach is just it wasn't feeling that, bro. I don't know, but my bad. What was the cycle?
So in the cycle, like I only ran
Don't
seven
lowball
fifty.
it. Don't
Wait,
don't lowball
for
it, Joe.
Cal? For the
For
Cal?
for the USA's.
Oh, for USA's?
Yeah, keep it
Uh,
keep it funky, Joe. Don't lower it. Don't be
I'm
a,
not. So
don't.
my test was at 1,000.
There we
My
go. Now we talking.
what else I ran? I ran Anavar. I ran Winstrol. I ran 300 Tren.
Fentanyl.
I ran no fentanyl. I ran Mastron. I ran Halo at the very end.
Mhm.
I ran 8 IUs of GH. I think that was everything.
That's pretty standard, right? Oh no,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
they said the off season. What'd you win the off season?
well, you said, oh, okay, off season.
Mhm.
The off season,
You just
the
gave away
most I
your
ran, the most
contest.
I ran was
You just gave away
900.
his contest per cycle for free.
Yeah, for real. You guys just saw the magic happen.
my bad. For the off season.
Yeah, we said for the prep, USA prep.
My bad. That was a
Here at
grave
home.
mistake.
Buddy's taking notes.
Yeah, I'm
For
taking
real,
over right now. Shit.
motherfucker. He has the same coach.
For next year.
So for off season,
Uh,
I actually ran 900 milligrams test
mhm,
and Anadrol and EQ 600
mhm.
and I think that was it. Oh, and GH that was 6 IUs.
Um, you were able to eat that much calories on Anadrol?
Yeah, so this is the first year it affected me. That's why, or the first time. So my body was
Mm.
handling just fine up until this time around.
It does take a few cycles. Like my first couple of cycles on Anadrol, my appetite was fine. Actually, I was kind of hungry, more hungry.
You
But
know
after
what
like,
though? He,
huh?
he he had me run 25 milligrams.
That's what I was gonna say. If you half it, dude, it's so much better than if you run 50.
Really?
Yeah,
Big
so he
difference.
Hmm.
halved it, and I ran it for a longer period of time. Not
Hmm.
crazy long, but longer than you would think for what you would normally run it for.
For like
I
6 to 8 weeks or something like
It
that.
was more. It was like 8 weeks, like that
Yeah.
long.
We've
hmm.
tried that this off season, not currently. It was previous to now. It was 25 mgs a day. We did it for maybe 6 to 8 weeks, and I had no effect on my appetite.
Yeah, see, it
But
didn't affect me last time
It's
either.
interesting.
but did you see the same results or similar results?
I personally, I got stupid strong like
Hmm.
instantly on 50 milligrams. With 25, it felt almost like saying like how NPP works. It's more like gradual.
Hmm.
Like you feel it gradually over time. That's how it felt more so
Hmm.
for me.
I have to agree.
I might try that because
Yeah.
I just decided that I just can't do Anadrol. But if there's a way I could do it, I'll be more than happy to go ahead and add that in the cycle.
Yeah, because I would get like acid reflux.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Usually. Yeah,
For,
couldn't eat
for
one
me
for days.
personally, I don't even think it's worth it
if you
if like
can't
I'm
eat,
saying like you're getting the similar effect with like the NPPs or the Deca or whatever. It's
yeah.
not as drastic.
Mm.
Like it was
Uh,
drastic for me. Like I was doing shit where I was like, what the fuck? Like 2 weeks in, that's all I could handle. But it was very prominent that I was getting strong as fuck out of nowhere.
Damn. I can't run Deca at all. That it doesn't agree with me. Doesn't agree with me. All
Or
right,
do you
let's.
get like mental effects or water too much water retention or
Oh, well, first of all, I can't have sex. I become completely just,
mm.
my Deca dick times 20. And then
Oh,
yeah, oh yeah, it's bad. It's bad. But then even then, like I don't look any better, you know. My joints feel great, but I don't look any better. I might look worse if anything, you know. But
Mm.
once you get Deca dick, game over. Game over.
not even worth it anymore.
That's not a trade. That's not a trade you want to make. You know what I'm saying? It's just not a trade you want to make. But
Yeah.
let's go Jordan.
Okay, so are we talking we're talking most productive off season?
Yeah, the most successful off season calories and cycle for that off season.
I mean, because it's been so consistent every year I gain
Yeah, it's
about the
kind of hard
same
to say.
amount. It's been
That's
like
hard to
10
yeah.
pounds a year since 2018. So this off season has seemed pretty productive in a short amount of time, but I don't know yet until I see the stage weight. Last off season I think was extremely productive because I weighed in at USA's at like 222 in 2021 and I was 243 the morning of Texas Pro. So I gained 20 pounds in 2 years.
Mm.
Um, as far as the calories, we got up to 6,500 calories. I was pushing like 1,000 grams of carbs at one point. I got a little fatter than I would have liked, but luckily we're not having to do that this time. Um, but that was like from August 2021 up until early 2023 that I was in off season, no mini cuts or anything like that. We're just
Yeah.
pushing. I probably have some of my notes on what I was running, but generally I actually like Primo.
One second, you said no mini cuts, but did you have moments where you pulled back a little bit or not at all?
Yeah, I mean, like if I was running a health phase or like cruising, we wouldn't be hammering the food the entire off season, but we have food pretty high the whole
Hmm.
right out of the straight out of the show. Chris doesn't reverse diet me at all. Like we
Mm.
bring food right back up.
Yeah.
Um, and then it's pretty much decently high all off season. Um, let's see, I think this was that year.
You got the notes. Okay, Jordan.
Yeah, I
Jordan
think
don't
the
play.
most like it was like 250 tests every other day. That's what like 900,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then it was
Somewhere in
Yeah.
there.
200 primo every other day and 150 MPP every other day.
Sounds like Joe.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same shit.
Yeah, and then we
Oh,
ran four IUs of growth for the most part up until the last like 6 weeks. So we did five. This year we're trying more. But
and for the G's, you do farm. You said right.
yeah, I mean, dude, I tried generic years ago, but I wasn't consistent enough. It's like
Mm-hmm.
years and years ago when I didn't really have the money to be as consistent, even with the generic stuff that I
Yeah.
had. So I can't vouch for whether or not it did well for me. I never had a single side effect or noticed any difference that I'm like, okay, I'm on growth. Whereas
Suspicious.
now I do. So like I'm scared to try otherwise because I don't
Mm.
want to like I don't know. I'm scared of getting something that's not legit.
Yeah.
So
It's not
since
worth it.
since USA prep of 21, yeah, it's all been farm.
Mm. Okay, interesting. Pretty similar to Joe, so I'm gonna keep that in my notes. Let's go,
Yeah,
Ken.
mine was a generic. I've been generic the whole way.
It's tempting because it's cheaper.
I'm not bougie with my pinky up and shit when I inject.
And if I had a dead set guarantee that it was just as good or even 80% as effective, I 100% would switch. But I got to know for a fact.
Yeah, my hands always let me know.
Yeah, right.
That was a real trick, Joe.
Hey, Jordan, when we come off, just shoot me a DM. I'll connect you to the right people.
And I've had a few guys help me out. I'm just like, I'm still like, I'm iffy.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of shit.
Yeah, that's where I'm at, bro.
If it's working, if it's working, why fix it? You know?
Yeah.
You gotta get those arms bigger next year, so you can't take no chances.
Don't tell any judges. My arms are fine, man. My arms are totally fine. Don't make it.
Let's go, Ken.
Well, buddy, you already know. I don't eat as much, right? I would say my most productive. So to North Americans here, I only had, I think 4 months of off season. So I won't even say that was mostly productive. I would say the year prior to nationals. So I did 4,500 calories. Was my highest point, and I went from stage weight was, I believe, 216 in 2021 to about 225. On D-Day. D-Day I was like 228, at nationals, but I would say about 225 was my stage weight. And I only did 800 tests. That was it. I mean, I'm still relatively like you guys know I'm not really like heavy at this point. I'm just getting there. I just started GH this year, so I'm actually looking for this off season coming up. I'm hoping this is going to be a more productive, maybe take me into a super as a competitor. So we'll see what happens, man.
There we go. This is a hard question for me to answer because my stage weight has been staying the same or getting a little bit lower just because I was so far from actually being shredded, because I was able to win local shows being basically fat, like Boston said, because of my shape, basically, really because of my structure, right? So once I like realize that I have to be shredded, I'm adding muscle, but I'm not gaining stage weight because I gotta be in better shape. So it's kind of hard to answer, I guess, but I'm gonna go with the year I pushed the hardest, which was when I worked with Compton in the off season, maybe 2 years ago now. And he had me on, I want to say like close to 6,000 calories, maybe like 5,800. And you know me, like you can, I'm good at like 4,500, 5,000.
45,
like,
that's it, yeah.
I could hold 300 pounds easily on 4,500, you know what I'm saying? So that was different for me, but I see why he did it because the same reason why when I coach myself, I have to get to 1,200 calories, 1,500 calories. That's what he didn't want. So he's like, I'm going to force that food in you because I'm not going to be like, okay, in theory, right? If you're 300 pounds with 4,000 calories, you would think that, well, if I did 7,000, well, you're going to be 350? No, you're still going to be like, what, 305, 308,
yeah.
But now what that's doing for your metabolism is that you can diet on a little bit more food. So he knows that. So you'll gain that initial water weight, and then the body's going to catch on and be like, I see what you're doing. I'm not going to just keep getting bigger, So you might gain an extra 5 pounds, but now you're up another 1,000 calories. So he was able to diet me on a little bit more food. And on that one, I'll follow the cycle he gave me, which I would have to look at the notes. So I can't tell you exactly what he told me, but just judging by what I usually do, it would be 1,000 tests for the off season, and then EQ 600. GH, it usually gets up to now. These days, I get up to 10, but Compton never had me actually do 10. He would stop me at like 8, usually anywhere from 4 to 8. And wait till my off season. He never had me do insulin. I've experimented with insulin myself, and I see why he didn't have me doing it because my body Yeah, my body type is just not suited for
You
that.
don't need it.
I'll
Yeah.
gain 10 pounds a day, and it's not 10 pounds of muscle. So what the fuck am I gaining? I'm talking about on clean food. Now it's not like I'm eating junk food, right? So it doesn't work for everybody's body type. Let's just say that.
You guys like
And
EQ though?
huh?
Hmm?
You guys really like EQ? You and
That's
Joe?
all I do off season. Test EQ. It's the only thing I do.
I did it this last off season. I don't know, maybe because I was pushing up. You guys saw my off season pictures, but my dude lower back pumps were insane, dude.
Yeah,
That was the only
yeah,
thing that
because
happened to me. I don't know if you got that happens to you guys. Maybe it was the weight, but I
I
just don't.
haven't taken it in years. I never really responded well. So I just
really,
there's a lot of guys that love it, and I just haven't touched it in years. I don't even remember the last time. It's been at least 4 or 5, probably 4 years.
you do primo off season.
Primo masked, yeah, and
In off
MPP,
season,
yeah,
really?
yeah. I like Primo and Master on both. I'm
What
using
what
Master on right now.
what do you feel from master on an off season?
I mean, it's not, people see it. People see so many things as either like a prep
Yeah,
cutting,
yeah,
cutting compound versus a bulking compound, and it's all anabolics, right? So, I
agree.
mean,
And I think the approach there too, from and Jordan, obviously you work with Chris Tuttle, so he knows what he's doing. But I think that they're less harsh, So in the off season, you want to use something that is less toxic, right? So you can run that for longer periods because you're still going to transition into a prep, right? So I'm guessing that's the approach because Masteron and Primo would pretty much be almost clean, if you will, versus going
yeah, I
going the
mean,
EQ
and
route.
I feel good with them.
Yeah.
I do remember with EQ, I didn't feel as good overall, and
Yeah.
like my training seems better. But I don't know. I mean, Primo, maybe I'd get, or with EQ, I may get super strong. I have no idea. I just have.
Damn, Jordan, you got that man, you're doing good, man. Serostim,
Yeah,
Primo, like
primo. Yeah,
doing good.
he's doing really well for himself. Yeah,
For real.
that's
I
impressive.
didn't even put two and two
I've
together.
got
You
Yeah,
that may be the only thing I spend money on.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes that's
Keep
the
it
only way.
everywhere else.
All right. I feel like we've been on like 2 hours. Want to do like what, one or two more questions? I'm
That's
gonna try to
okay.
pick good
Sure.
ones.
I noticed personally in my off season, the less I run, the better I feel, and the more
Yeah.
it's weird. Like I actually get way stronger. My workouts way more productive on less. So like right
That's
now
what it's about.
for this off season, like I think this one's actually the most productive. We'll see once the stage comes, right? But as far as my numbers and the consistency of them and how I actually feel physically with my output, I'm like I'm only running test and NPP and insulin on my training days, and my performance is incredible. Like I've
That's
never
the
had a
most
good
important
performance
thing.
like this.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
if your performance is better than ever, then and your recovery is there, then why would you need to do anything else or run anything higher
Yeah.
or sure.
And that was the approach too, because like Beatty's in similar boat with me. Like I don't eat a lot and I grow. I just grow. So if you could use as little as possible where you can actually utilize the increase in food that you have and it can promote your training, then why not? Right. And that was the approach because I was doing it myself for that particular off season. But this off season, I think we're probably gonna make a drastic change based on just the improvements that I saw, transitioning from 2021 to 2022.
Good,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Excited.
I feel like some of these questions we've answered similar, so I don't want to do anything similar. Let me see. And I don't want to do anything biased to LA or anything like that. Okay. Do you think Sebum will compete again?
Yeah.
Think
I
so?
think
Yeah.
one more time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's got maybe two max, you know.
You, you know, some of the what's the word? Some of the things I've seen, it kind of seems like he isn't gonna do another one. In my head, I was like, he probably gonna do one more because he probably wants to like a good send off, like, hey, I'm retiring. But then But then I'm thinking like from what I've seen of C-Bum, he actually doesn't like that kind of attention. I don't think he wants a big send off. I think he wants to bow out like without actually getting that moment that everybody cheering and standing up. I don't think he likes that kind of tension. But a couple of things I noticed, right? Somebody actually brought this to my attention, right? So on the low, he signed Ramon to Raw. They haven't made it public yet, but he signed it. He signed it. He signed him to Raw. Okay. And then Patrick Bet David, been trying to get him for a long time. He chose not to do it until after this Olympia. And then he answered a lot of questions that were, I don't think it's controversial, but you could see how maybe the higher ups maybe wouldn't like that interview. Okay. Another thing, he's having a son. I'm sorry. He's
Girl.
having a baby. I'm not, you're not supposed to say what it is. I don't think they said it, but he's having a kid. And then third, he got his hairline done. They've been offering him this for the last 4 or 5 years. Why did he choose now to do it? Just to go back on cycle. So the writing on the wall is a bit suspicious. He doesn't think Vermont is going to beat him. So signing him might not be that big of a clue. But why would you sign him now? Why not wait till you retire? Would you really want to sign your biggest competitor while you're actively competing? So
I mean,
I would say. Mhm.
everything you said
Okay.
makes sense. And another one I want to add to that too, if you've looked at his trajectory, right, is, Ian is he's never really said it publicly, but Ian has been that person that he's always looked up to, in the sport of bodybuilding because he brought him in.
For
And if you
sure.
look at the way their trajectories were going, Ian recently retired and Ian has started talking about, maybe starting a family and whatnot. Chris is already
Mhm.
doing that. It seems like they've always been on kind of the same wavelength when it comes to like life experiences.
Mhm.
So I kind of feel like he's got maybe like one more tops, one or two more in him.
Yeah. And then, excuse me. And then the injuries too, right? He tore a lat, he tore a bicep, and the other bicep looks like it may have been torn as well. So, things are catching. And then after you get the hair transplant surgery, you can't actually train for like, they tell you like, I don't know, like a month or something like that. So the writing on the wall, it kind of seems like maybe that might be the case. You know what I'm saying? And
Right,
listen,
You
he
right. I saw that interview with Patrick Bet David that he did, and it sounded like like obviously he doesn't want to say yes or no whether he's competing or not. But
exactly.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
He definitely. I would say if he does, it'd probably be his last year.
I
let me
think
ask you
so.
guys, let me ask you guys this now. If Chris retires and Ramon becomes the next classic champion, do you guys think that the criteria for classic physique in terms of the bodies that are winning shows, do you think that will change? Because Ramon's got big arms. He's one of
I
the
knew
only
you were
Yeah,
going to
guys.
say it.
yeah,
I knew you were going to say it.
Ramon's
mhm.
one of the only guys
He does.
on that
Mhm.
classic physique top 10 that actually has that kind of like almost bodybuilder-esque structure.
Right.
So do you
Mhm.
guys think that that would actually start to change things in terms of, the direction of classic physique would probably go? Because
Hard to
I don't know
say.
how they judge those guys. They're all so close. I can't tell who is fourth versus eighth. They all look so
I,
good.
I think it has to change just because your champion is always the one that sets the
The
precedent.
standard.
So I
Yeah.
think even if it's subconscious, I don't know. I don't think the judges sit there and be like, okay, we're gonna change the criteria. But I think subconsciously, I think you kind of because you're comparing everybody to him right, at this point, right?
Yeah.
So I think it does change a bit. But even in the top 10, you see different like kind of like different looks, right? Because it was like you had him, Ramon, then Urs, but then Breon, and then it went to I forgot who got after him. Was it Terrence after him, or was it the tall guy?
Who you talking
It,
about? I don't know who won, bro.
it might have been
I
Mike
don't,
the Badass, well, whatever. But it's like tall, short, you know. But they all have like pretty similar attributes. They have wide structures, pretty good backs. Well, yeah, Ramon is really the only odd man out that you could say he almost looks like he looks classic. I don't want to say he doesn't look classic, but the roundness and fullness, I don't know. It almost doesn't look classic. I don't know.
Hey,
I feel like
what happened with Russ Diesel? Why did he have like a fucking second in the world? and then drop so far? Like, what happened?
Well, that one year he just wasn't in good enough shape, you know.
But he
You know
never
that
really got it back. He
I
played
think
like
it's
what?
I
When he
think
was
it's
retired?
Joe. You know, what I think it's size, man. I mean, that's the whole height thing. All those guys on that Olympia stage are like 5'9" and up in classic. So I think like the size is because there's a weight restriction, right? So versus open, you can be just as big as you want. If you're a smaller guy with a weight restriction, you're always going to look significantly smaller compared to a guy who's, like Chris has room to keep growing into classic physique. So I feel like it's the tall guys are an advantage where they can keep getting bigger, but because he's so short, he kind of looks outsized, when you
he,
really
he,
stand him
he
next to those guys.
Yeah, he doesn't look that he didn't look that impressive in the lineup. I got to be honest with you.
No.
Like
Yeah.
like by himself, I think he looks impressive, but in the lineup, he didn't look that impressive, man. I got to be honest with you. Even that show he won to qualify, did you see that Brazilian guy? I thought he should have beat Terrence. Did you see that Brazilian
Yeah.
guy he beat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, that guy was insane. I don't. No offense, I like Terrence Physique. I don't know how the fuck you beat that guy. That guy was, bro. What his back? I mean, he was just insane. He was more peeled than Terrence. He was way bigger than him. When I say way bigger, it was he looked. Only issue is that almost looked like how the fuck did he make the weight? Because he was so big and more shredded, round, full. But then we I guess that's the Ramon argument. He almost looked like a bodybuilder, but
That's why I asked that
That's
question
the
because
problem.
I don't
Guys
know
like
the
us
answer.
are going to look at it. Guys like us are going to look at that, be like, "Oh man, I like that
yeah,
physique," because we prefer the open bodybuilding look.
we do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ours, it would be we couldn't judge that because
no,
we
no.
would definitely want the bigger, harder guy.
It's like what's that guy from the Netherlands? I think he looks great. What's the
Wesley
guy from the Netherlands?
Visitors. Wesley
I
Visitors.
for
So
the
that to
past,
me looks like he's the next, but he places so far back.
I
That's what
agree.
throws
yeah,
me off.
I think he looks great.
I
At
agree.
first, it was a conditioning thing. He fixed that. Then it was like, well, his legs are a little behind. He brought that up. I mean, what can you really knock him for at this point?
He was
I
what,
guess,
sixth or seventh? Was he seventh?
I think he moved up. I don't know. I don't remember. But I guess like what you said, like about Ramon. If Ramon wins, then maybe Wesley has a better chance because he had his legs caught up, but he's still more top heavy. He has huge shoulders, huge arms, but he has a huge back, man. I think he has one of the best backs up there. I
He
mean,
looks he looks like he has a very Arnold-esque
yeah,
physique. You
he
know
Yes.
what I
does.
mean? Like where the quads are not that big. It
No,
just
no,
he kind of gives him that tall kind of look, but the chest and the arms, he looks very
crazy, crazy.
Arnold-esque.
Yeah.
And that's why I was asking that question because these guys all look great, man. I don't know how they judge that division. They all look great, you
No,
know.
he
If,
does.
if you guys had to between pick a physique between Chris and Ramon to look like personally, which would you pick? Which would you guys pick?
Ramon.
Me
I
too. Yeah,
prefer
I'd say
I prefer
Ramon too.
Ramon.
me too. Yeah, honestly, I like his look, man. I like his look. I mean, his waist is tiny too, but he's bubbly, bro. His forearms, biceps, triceps, his shoulders. I mean, I think his back is great. He's just not as dry and grainy
He doesn't
looking
have
as
his, he
Chris.
doesn't have Chris's width, that crazy
No, no.
taper.
But he doesn't have any body fat, but he's also not like super hard. But I think Ramon looks amazing. I don't think he beat Bumstead though. But I personally prefer his physique.
Well,
But
when I look at Ramon, I don't see a classic guy
no, he might
personally.
as well. He looks like I can't even say mini bodybuilder. He just
So
looks like
that's why I don't understand the judging criteria. Like, how does he place in front of Urs when Urs has a more Chris looking physique,
Mhm.
like to the T? Urs is like a smaller version of Chris.
But Urs does have more gaps. I would say because his back
Yeah.
his back is pretty behind.
And his
Um,
arms.
yeah,
But as far as the classic's like a
his arms are
structural
better.
thing, isn't it?
But like a mix of both. But it's weird because okay, if you measure his arms and Bumstead's arms, I don't even know if Bumstead's arms are actually bigger, but it doesn't flow. Like on his body, it doesn't look. his arms look behind.
He's
Yeah,
very torso dominant versus Chris. It's his arms are not big, but it still flows, you know, to a
exactly.
degree.
I don't
Yeah.
think any of us look at Bumstead and be like, "Oh man, those arms they're distracting," you know. But is, I think, to a point. But his shoulders are also massive, you know. I actually thought Breon could have beat him just on completeness and conditioning. Has shredded glutes like 10 weeks out, but on stage he doesn't look as shredded as the other guys. You know, he doesn't look as shredded as Breon or Chris or
I
even
think it's
Ramon.
the weight, man. I think
Yeah,
he's capped at the weight because he was like what 270 in his off season.
he
He
was
He looked
was,
lean.
great. Yeah,
Yeah,
lean 270. So he's sacrificing something to make that
bro.
weight, which is
Think
what's
he
the
never
issue.
moved to open?
I think so.
he has to.
I think he will. I think
Eventually.
he has no choice. But I got a picture with him outside of Ghost Venice posing. You would have thought I was classic and he was a open guy.
Yeah.
Like,
That's what I'm saying. The way
you know. So it's like he's just as big as most open guys I know because his 275 isn't a fat 275.
No.
I mean, he has feathers in his quads. Like he looks like a bodybuilder. Like he doesn't, on stage he doesn't look like a open bodybuilder, but
And he's
off
like
season
what
he
20
does.
20 he's like what 23? The body's just gonna keep growing, you know?
There's no way
So
he's staying in that class. And if he
he couldn't
does,
make that weight eventually.
he'll look worse. He won't look better,
Yeah.
because imagine having 280 pounds of off season weight with good condition and having to make 225. I don't know what the fuck you had to make. That's not going to be a good look, you know.
And
But
that's strain on your body, bro, to have to pull down that much.
Yeah.
it's not worth it. I think there's a fear there. Like, okay, I'm top 3 in the world. I'm gonna have to start from the bottom up. But fuck it, you did it. What you did it once as an amateur, you can do it again. You
yeah,
could.
Yeah.
Everybody has to go through that. But I'm starting to go hypo, guys. I don't.
yeah.
So I don't want my arms to shrink. So let's save it for next
Tim will
time.
be disappointed in you if you lose any arms. It'll be less accentuating to your physique.
Yeah, right.
I
If you
can't
come up with
I can't
small
let it
arms and you
go.
lose your next show, bro, it's not gonna be good, man.
Now, okay. So the other part, right? I said if I had bigger arms, it wouldn't benefit me. But I gotta admit, if I had smaller arms, I think I would look worse though. Still,
Bro,
you
if
know
you
what I'm
had
saying?
bigger arms, if you had big, let's say your legs, your quads flowed out a little bit more. Let's say everything was the same, but your quads flowed out more and bigger arms, bro, you're the next national champion. That's it. That's it. You know?
That's all you got to do, though. It's that
Uh-huh.
simple.
That's
That's all. Super easy.
it, gentlemen. It's been real. Oh, I guess this is the New Year episode. So,
Yeah, Happy New Year, guys. You
Happy
Happy
made
New
New
it.
Year,
Year,
to everybody.
guys.
Happy New Year, Jordan.
Happy
Thanks for
New
coming
Year.
on. It
Yeah,
was
thank you
last
guys
minute.
Good
for
seeing you,
having me.
Jordan.
Good to
Miss
talk
you,
to you
buddy.
guys.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
See y'all.
All right, guys.